It's gonna be like if it's. This is some next level shit that I'm
Trix,
thinking about right now.
I counter 1 beagle with 2 of my own. Oh.
Doggos.
Yes.
Are we having a cute off? Or is this like a cute off?
Oh, yeah, it looks like it. Hi, buddy. What are you doing?
Looks like Trix's camera is frozen.
I think she might have disconnected because I haven't heard her for a second.
My internet is just not good in Australia.
Yeah, I fucking hate dogs. So. And,
Well, this is why the fox is
they're
not
the
good
worst.
enough. Hang
They're
out
all the
with that.
worst. You know what I like to do to animals
Dogs,
that
that's
look
a
like
bad
dogs? I like to shoot them and wear their fur.
Whoa!
That's what I do.
How about no?
That hurt.
Sorry. It's the cycle of life.
Dogs are awesome. I don't give
Except-
a shit if people shoot coyotes though, because they might try to eat my ducks.
Except CTV's dogs. His dogs are chill. But all y'all's dogs, whack.
And this is why I don't care for your opinion.
Nobody cares for my opinion. That's why I'm here.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know. I just can't trust anybody that doesn't like dogs.
Dude, I don't like the hair and stuff and the allergies, all that stuff. It's the whole thing. We can get into it later.
Hey,
I'm
Are
not
you
allergic
allergic
to
to
like
dogs?
cats, but I'm allergic to them. So through that, I don't want anything to do with them. You know, so I can feel that. Allergies suck.
very cheap.
Like you gotta have a lint roller in the car, you know, or you're wearing a suit to work. It's just hard.
Oh, Chief. Chief.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Chief.
All right, we're just waiting for Monty to be on cam, and after that we'll start. Real quick, I want to try this. Oh, okay.
That was neat. All right, go down. No, god damn it. All right, you both can get down now. Come on. Oh no.
You know what I love about this chair the most? Is the other one had like a real problem, like with the wheels turning and running smooth on the floor.
There we
But
go.
this one is like, oh yeah. Sorry, we just got a days. My ass has not become accustomed.
Am I not on camera for you guys?
No. We get a black
I
screen.
No.
Yeah.
Try to refresh the page.
All right, hold on.
Sometimes OBS can be a real bastard with hogging cams too. Like you have to set up a virtual camera hook for like the camera source in OBS and then capture that thing with like this website.
Yeah,
or
I'm
Discord,
aware.
whatever you're using.
I'm aware. Anyways, whatever. I guess it's been a while. Hold on, let's do this again.
Yeah, I did turn my camera off, and then even to get it widescreen, I had to like take it out of widescreen and then put it back in widescreen. It was weird.
Do you see my camera now?
Yeah, we see you now,
Yes.
Montreal player.
There you go. Okay. Great.
All right, just a sec. That's me. Good enough. All right. Sec. All right, let's go. Sorry, a few problems on my end. Yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, welcome to this brand new episode of Hippy Dippy Recruitment. Let's start by a round of intro, and I'm going to have the chance to use the spotlight. Let's start by Seren Kitty. How are you doing?
Good. Great.
So present yourself, tell people where they can find you and everything.
Hi, I go by Seren most of the time, and my Twitch and Twitter is Seren_Kitty. We do politics stuff. Trying to keep it lighthearted. I'm a memer shit poster kind of person, so
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today.
Mhm.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Jason Society.
Hello, I'm Jason Society. I'm at Jason_Society on Twitch. Basically, we do a lot of conversations about politics, play games, talk about cannabis advocacy. That's something that is a big part for us. We also riff on music. Former musician, recovering musician, if you will. So we talk a lot about music and what's going on in the music world as well.
Nice. I'm going to throw it to Trix. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. No one has seen me in about half a year, so I enjoy being a cryptid in a sense. I'm good. I barely stream, but you can find me on Twitter at Trix_witch. I'm a design student, and that's all I do.
Nice. I'm going to throw it to Montreal player.
Boom. Yeah, my name's Monty, or Montreal Player, twitch.tv/Montreal Player. I haven't streamed a long time. My content usually consists of me smoking joints on CTV streams, somewhere between like 9 and 12. Yeah, we have some laughs. I don't even know why I'm here, but that's it. I'm streaming right now, twitch.tv/Montreal Player, the most exciting streamer you'll never see. Yeah, that's it. Let's have a great time.
Yeah. And speaking of the wolf, how are you doing, CTV? I think you're muted.
Yeah, he is.
Pro streamer.
You're damn right, pro streamer. You remember that, Tiberius?
I will remember it.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Geek. Appreciate the intro there. Yeah, you'll know Montreal is smoking a joint with CTV whenever the stream title gets changed to High Times with Montreal Player. That's whenever we're sitting there having laughs, good time. And don't let Trix fool you. She may not have been here in a while, but people know who she is, right? She's one of Twitch's sweethearts. So for everybody else, I'm getting to know everybody that is here tonight. And I mean Tiberius. I know I've actually shook that guy's hand.
True.
Matter of fact, him and Counterpoints owe me breakfast at some point, right?
Damn it! I forgot. I thought you forgot about that.
Yeah. Don't think I'm not gonna be collecting. Anyway, happy to be here as always, and you can find me at twitch.tv/critically thinking veteran. Usually, I'm over here chilling out in the Infinity Acre Wood.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Speaking of, do you care to respond about this accusation of like stealing a breakfast or owing a breakfast?
All right. So I'll get that here in a second. I'm Tiberius D. I study in economics and politics political science, and my claim to fame is knowing a little bit about geopolitics and having a show that largely revolves around that. As far as a panel show and what else? Well, I can't speak today. I'm sorry. Been going through some shit. Anyway, let me put this in context. CTV's accusation is that me, Counterpoints, and him got together down in Central Florida a ways back. It was about April. We had a good time, and CTV brought breakfast, and he's just basically saying, he's like, hey, look, I'm calling the favors. Eventually, you got to get back down here, and I completely respect that. So we're going to have to do that again sometime.
This guy always embroiled in drama. What the fuck? Tiberius.
What did I do?
I was in drama. I don't know what it is. It's your personality.
Apparently, just people. Never mind. Not even gonna say it. Not even gonna say it.
I'm going to throw it to Beer Bash Johnson. How are you doing?
Excellent. I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking, Mr. Geek. It's Mr. Geek, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Until I heard Dylan say your name out loud once, I was actually pronouncing it Mr. G2X to myself.
That's okay.
Anyways,
Same.
my name's Beer Bash Johnson. I'm a pizza delivery guy by evening, and then I'll spend the late night either drunkenly babbling about politics or streaming various racing simulators on my Twitch channel, and I also upload some of the best parts to YouTube. You can primarily find me over at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BeerBashJohnson, spelled with 3s instead of E's and JAWN, son, like it shows right down in the corner of this video. Anyways, I'll shut up now.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Crungelord.
Hi guys, I'm the Crungelord. I need no introduction, but I'm gonna give you one just in case. I do music, guitar over there. I do hunting, that target down there. We shoot crossbows on stream. We play hunting games. We talk politics, and we make liberals cry. That's what we do.
Wow, starting strong.
Crungelord. I put on the hunting camo so you guys can't see me. So.
John Cena.
All right, let's go over the rules real quick. Nothing TOS, obviously. No one wants to see that channel banned. Please respect. Don't misgender people. So the recruitment panel is going to go like this. We're gonna have two topics cut by a palette cleanser in the middle, a fun topic if you prefer. And the topics are going to go like this: opening statement, period where you can engage, closing statement. You cannot interrupt people during opening and closing statement. The last time you can bring a topic is during the opening of the next topic. Sorry. Beside that, if you want to chime in and you see that you can, basically that it's talking like everyone is talking, raise your hand. Keep that as the last resort. Try still to engage. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, also, when I speak, it's just to moderate. I'm not going to give my opinion. So when I talk, no one talk, please. And yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the first topic, which is Biden's coverage in the media. So how do you think it was treated? Like, you can compare it to Trump, you can take it wherever you want. And we're going to start by Tiberius.
Oh, cool. Fantastic. As far as my general take on the media, I do try to expose myself as little as possible because that shit is cancer, and I don't care if it's the left-wing media or the right-wing media, it's all bad. But from what I do see and what I have seen is that the left-wing media is a little soft on him. It looked like about 2 weeks ago he fell asleep during a meeting. Don't know if he actually did or not, but the left-wing media didn't really talk about it at all. The right-wing media was playing a lot of the cards that I thought it was going to play, and that was fine up until Afghanistan tripped off and we had the 13 folks die. And then all of a sudden, the right-wing media completely went to shit when it came to Biden because just out of the partisan in me is that most of us voted America first. You know, we didn't want to be in Afghanistan anymore. And now all of a sudden, since Biden did it, it's a bad thing. And he did it absolutely horrible. And the absolute inconsistency there bothers me a lot. But I'm going to end off with that. Left wing, a little soft. Right wing went super hard after Afghanistan. So I'll end with that.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Trix switch.
So a lot of the mass media I get is Australian owned and based. So it's a bit different. A lot of our major news sources are incredibly right wing. So we don't really have any left and right politics. It's really just everything that Murdoch owns that's right. And after Afghanistan, they've been absolutely destroying Biden in the media. And I haven't heard a single positive thing outside of like Twitter, which is mostly American shit.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Jason Society.
Okay, so I think he's getting the presidential treatment. I think all presidents are kind of treated like crap in the media, whether it's the left wing or the right wing. I think they all get their share of it. I think sometimes there's really petty stuff that they put in the media that they do in a partisan way because I saw CNN do it with Trump. I've seen Fox do it with Biden. I think they're both culpable, and I think it's a really, really toxic environment. But I don't think that this is out of the ordinary for what they do with presidents at all. This is par for the course.
All right. I'm going to throw it to CTV.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. The only reason I'm here is because of my handsome good looks. That's it.
Okay, straight
There we
to the
go.
point.
So just
All right.
End the stream now. It's over.
That's it. That's it. I mean, what else is there to say? It's obvious, right, that the media is going to do what the media is going to do, right? They went hard on the Afghanistan thing because it's like, yeah, there's no fucking way they can justify it. But as soon as there's like an inch, they're going to back off because, there is a bias in the media. And this is where I keep telling people, verify sources, go through and get to the core of what's actually happening, and then actually use some critical thinking skills to maybe get to the truth of what's being said. Because, me and Jason, as a matter of fact, the other night, we were sitting there talking about a story that was going on, and we ended up getting to the root of like, what could possibly have been a reason for the opium fields in Afghanistan and why there was a change, right? Jason, you remember the conversation, right?
It was
so
a
like,
good conversation.
So you get to the end of that and you go, well, what about this, this, and this? Did you consider this? And he was like, I hadn't. So it takes time, and anytime that you're hearing something that is sensationalized by the media, understand that it is because of content creators like the people that are here on this panel that are going to the news sources and trying to verify it as best as they can, right? And to have some type of integrity about like telling people they don't know when they don't know, they don't fucking know, and what they know, they share on screen. This is what I'm finding out, and this is what I'm seeing, right? So then from there, and that doesn't mean that anybody here is an authority about it either, but I say this because the news media only continues as the internet takes over more of the media that we intake. It becomes more and more sensationalized to try to bring people back to their content. And this is where, like, I don't know how much longer it's going to be, but we can continue to see the main news media sources sensationalize things in order to try to gain more viewership. So take everything with a grain of salt.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Seren Kitty.
Hey, I will say I think for the most part, mainstream media is like pretty soft on him until after Afghanistan happened. I mean that's pretty much true. His approval rating went down the past couple weeks, and then I want to say that most right-wing media kind of is pretty bad with not offering a real critique about Biden. Most of it, not all of it, most of it. And yeah.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Birbash Johnson.
Oh boy, how do I say this? And to answer directly the question, is the media treating Biden fairly? It completely depends, and also not really. Jason Society, that was you where you were talking about, the presidential treatment, right?
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, I would say he's definitely getting the presidential treatment. However, it's like with the way that we cover, like, especially that a lot of media outlets in the United States tend to cover, especially presidential politics. It's always done from that really fucking awful, like, team, like, kind of almost covering it like team sports, which is, I believe, something that CNN is directly responsible for. And I'm probably one of the furthest left people on this panel right now. I fucking hate CNN too, because it's kind of a neoliberal hack job. But yeah, when you're gonna cover politics, and especially presidential politics like team sports, it's going to be impossible to actually be fair to anybody. But it also creates this thing where whether it be like the supposedly left-leaning media outlets that are really more centrist than anything else, whether it comes to them sensationalizing stupid shit involving Trump, or like, say, Fox or One American News sensationalizing stupid shit involving Biden, the thing is they always sensationalize the really, really stupid shit, but then completely gloss over like actual like really fucked up things that they're doing on issues that have less salience. That's the word. Issues that are much lower salience issues, and that where the shady dealings go on behind the scenes, and they just like completely gloss that over, let alone actually provide any like nuanced or in-depth coverage. It's few and far between where you can find things that'll actually cover stuff like that and do it well, which is sad.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Montreal player.
Right. Yeah, fair. Do you think we have any fair media anymore? Like who are the serious newscasters anymore, right? There's no Walter Cronkites or anybody who takes their shit seriously. We don't have diehard journalists anymore. We have Instagram models who read scripts. I mean, in what world are we not going to have the most clickbaity takes aside from people who practically nobody watches and realize before they realize what they need to do to actually pay the bills around here? Like seriously, what structure do we have where we're actually going to get news? You know where serious journalists go now? They're producers, they're researchers. They go out there and they publish little pieces. They go in some marketplace and someone picks them up, okay, and picks what they can to sensationalize them and get all kinds of views out of them, and that's just the model we have, right? You can't survive if you don't do this. So it's like how structurally, how are we actually going to get fair coverage from anybody anymore, right? And whatever, I guess this has been increasing. Does Biden get fair coverage? Probably not. Just because of the system, not because he's Biden or not because he's a Democrat or on the left or anything like that. I just don't think it's possible anymore. I just don't think it's possible. That's it.
All right.
Oh yeah, one last thing. And you know whose fault it is? It's your fault. It's my fault. Do we watch anything else? Do you watch that serious shit? No, you don't. Come on, most of you don't. Okay, I mean, hold on. Maybe Tiberius does because he's boring, right? But I mean, most of us have lives.
This is
Okay,
true, you
but
know.
most of us probably have lives where we're so fucking busy, okay, and we fill up the very few minutes that we have in the day smoking joints with some guy on Twitch, okay. And so for something to break through all that clutter, okay, and actually get my attention, it's probably been force fed to me by someone who is putting a lot of money behind it. There you go. Now I'm really done.
All right. And last but not least, Crungelord.
Yeah, so I think Biden's been treated very, very fairly by the media. Fairly to the point where, they carried water for him for the entire 2020 election. Nothing he did was wrong. He was the best thing since sliced bread. Meanwhile, Trump friggin', if he didn't put the toilet seat down, it was breaking news. So that's how I feel about it. I think if he is getting friggin' slammed by the media right now, I think that's well deserving. Because he has jacked up a lot of stuff, especially in Afghanistan, for those who have been there and know how easy it would have been to pull people out without having this BS. That's all I got.
All right, just to make sure, did I forget anything? Anyone?
Yeah, you did. As a matter of fact, you did. All right? First off, show's being co-hosted by me. Second off, you need to change your fucking overlay, okay? Like, it's ridiculous, geek. Why do you not have the right overlay on? And the reason why I'm being so dramatic right now is because it was specifically requested by Danabo, okay? So do it. Okay.
Oh my god.
That's what I got.
Ladies and gentlemen, and that's why he's only here for his looks.
All right, and now you can engage.
What are we talking about? Like when we say fair, like fair in with respect to like other people, like fair in terms of like, he's being treated so unfairly compared to this person, or because I was saying, it's a systematic failure of media, right? But I mean, I guess if everyone's subjected to the same thing, then maybe fair, or fair in terms of like, I think we're giving this guy like a fair assessment of what the story might actually be. That's my question on that.
Let's be honest here, right? There is no way that anyone's going to pass a litmus test on fair in this, because we're all going to have different thoughts when it comes to what the actual fairness is. We all have our political biases. We all have our certain things that we advocate for. And as an example, at least for me, one of the biggest things I've seen, whether it was Obama, whether it was Trump, whether it has been Biden, is that one, are people being ideologically consistent where they say, look, we're for this or we're not for this. And when it happens under another president, do they maintain consistency or do they flip their shit? And I've seen both sides do this really, really bad lately. But the other side of that is that can we put aside our bias enough to the point where we go, all right, you know what? This person is getting at least a decent evaluation, because I don't agree with Biden on a lot of shit, but I can look at it and be like, all right, left-wing media, hasn't hold the fork down to them where they really could on a few things. Compared to the right-wing media, they're definitely going to do that because opposition. But on the other side of that, is it within reason? Is it principled? Is it restricted? And that's only something I can consult with my morals and then throw it at you guys and see where you guys go with it. According to what I said with my opening introduction, I think the left-wing media definitely is going to suck Biden off because it's their guy. I mean, sometimes maybe it's a little too far. The right was largely in line for me personally, but then all of a sudden Afghanistan happened and they just went off a cliff. Reiterating what I said. Thank you.
I think fair would be like a nuanced, critical analysis of what's going on and what is happening or what Biden is doing. I don't think like saying that he's a socialist, communist, what else do they say? I don't know, socialist, communist president, and he's going to take us all the way to the left is fair.
No, people are saying he's a corpse and he's not present for his own administration.
There's a lot of things they say about
no,
him.
I don't think so. But okay.
I mean, does anybody think that Joe Biden say that his butt's been wiped? Like, does anybody think that was unfair coverage? Because, I mean, it's good to know that the old man's getting his ass wiped, right? I mean, we definitely don't want the president of the United States walking around with shitty drawers. You know what I mean?
Well, he's a very busy man. Right. I'm glad he's taking care of serious shit, and someone else is doing the butt wiping. Right? I mean, it's resources off his mind.
Trivial shit. That's the whole point. It's trivial. It's like and they did the same thing with Trump. It's trivial shit, and you know what? People get fixated on it because they have this need to demonize somebody so bad that they'll take these little things and they just swallow it whole, and they're like, oh, let me consume more of this crap that the media is throwing at me. And if you think it's either the left or the right and you can't see that it's happening on both sides, that's a really, really naive perspective, because there's one thing that these media companies care about, and that's their ad buyers, right? They don't care about anybody else. Their stories are curated based off of who's going to buy ads on their network. That's it.
How many right-wing media companies, like as far as like mainstream go, other than Fox, exist compared to the 8 that they have on the left wing?
The huge YouTube people, Steven Crowder, OAN, who else? Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool,
Sky News.
Okay, so you put Tim Pool against CNN and MSNBC?
They are
this idea that
Fox News is the biggest news network in the country.
Come on.
They are big.
You're saying that right-wing people only have one news station to go to for...
They have a lot of news stations. Newsmax, OANN.
Like mainstream, you're saying that mainstream media, the fact that it's not a left or right thing, I mean, it seems like it's more of a problem on the left because you guys have all the fucking news networks.
No, we don't.
Like, I wouldn't put a YouTube channel against. I wouldn't put a YouTube channel next to NBC, CNN,
and CNN.
They're not
MSNBC. You just go down the line. No, there's. Are you serious? There's CNN, there's ABC, there's MSNBC, there's like 4 or 5.
So we're
compared
we're
to one.
They
one
can't be
news
left
network.
wing. They don't allow themselves to go completely insane in one direction.
All right, real quick, I want to throw it to Trix switch.
Just throwing in because you're like, there's barely any right-wing networks. I don't know about you guys, but in Australia, right-wing politicians are allowed to be major stakeholders in TV channels, and they're allowed to dictate what actually goes on TV. So we have like an entire, like half of the channels on my TV right now that I just don't watch because it's just like, oh, if I go on that, I know it's curated by this billionaire, it's this politician. Like we have entire newspapers owned by politicians. We have like web everything. It's much more of an impact on our news. There's like, I could probably list 3 news channels that are left wing. Like outside of America, I think that politics is less like left dominated in terms of like I see a lot of like CNN and shit on Twitter, but I think outside of America's political sphere,
I mean, what is right wing in Australia though? Because you guys don't have guns and you're putting people in like COVID quarantine camps over there. So like, I don't know how far right you guys are.
Hold
on, how far right your right wing is.
Bad.
Well, I'm saying like I don't know how far right it is.
Bad. it's incredibly far right. Like we have like the One Nation Australia campaign, which is pretty much we have literal Make Australia Great Again posters up. We've got Pauline Hanson, we've got Clive Palmer. The right wing network in Australia is just as far as America. We've got people.
Would you say the right wing's a majority in Australia?
I would say it's 50-50. Maybe, yeah, I'd say it's a little bit over the majority.
So having like a majority control over the media hasn't helped them.
No.
Okay.
Right, isn't in Australia? Isn't the party that calls itself Liberal Party like actually pretty right wing, like Scott Morrison's party?
So it's hard because when you guys talk about liberals, I have to flip it because in Australia, Liberal is the name of the right wing party and Labor is the name of the left wing party.
Yeah, that's how it started out, like in history. Yeah.
We just forgot to flip it, I guess. But yeah, they most of Australia is right wing. It's really like most of our government in itself is right wing, but having major media control hasn't helped them. Like I don't think that you can equate having control of the media with having
that makes sense.
I don't know, but also
That's
like
contradictory. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
Australia has different problems than the U.S. I agree.
Yeah, but also like we don't really get anything positive about Joe Biden. I actually don't think that we should get anything positive about Joe Biden. I don't really think that we should celebrate when people do their jobs, if that makes sense. Like, you don't really get news reports of like, hey, this firefighter did his job today. He put out that fire. This lawyer showed up to his appointment.
Yeah, like going above and beyond. But I mean, when it comes to like the guy who runs the entire country, that's pretty important. Like people want to know what's going on, and that's kind of the only way we get to know what's going on.
Like, when you say right wing, when you say right wing, what does that mean in terms of, I guess, let's say the yardstick would be American politics, because whatever, like the meme is what like leftists think that even Democrats are right wing at this point, right? I mean, like, so I don't know where to like what's the conversion, right? what's the exchange rate on rightism?
Oh God.
Do you mean for me? Is this? Yeah. So right wing in Australia is like gun ownership. Also, people still own guns here. It's legal. You're allowed to own guns. It's gun ownership. It's abortion right. Taking away abortion rights. It's trying to recriminalize same-sex marriage. It's wanting to kick out immigrants. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with mining companies at the moment. It's, I'd say, just as far as America. All the same issues you guys have, we pretty much have.
I'm from Canada, but okay. I get what you're saying. No, you've answered the question adequately, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't know how you can consider it right wing if you're not allowed to have firearms, but
oh God,
we can. It's legal. You can buy firearms in Australia.
Can you?
I mean, what was the whole gun buyback?
I don't understand why that myth goes around that you cannot own firearms in Australia.
I mean, it's probably possible if you live in the fucking bush, but I imagine like I've talked to a lot of Australian people, and I've been to Melbourne and Perth, and they don't think that guns are legal there, or maybe it's just ableist.
I literally live in the city. I know multiple people with guns legally.
How you can ban guns in Australia? You have the scariest animals ever.
Yeah.
Can we bring this back to the good old US?
Sorry.
Like I don't care about the prison colony right now. All right.
Fuck you, Tiberius. We exist too. We exist too.
You're Canadian.
Nobody cares about Canada, dude. Nobody cares. You don't even
I'm coming over there. We're coming over there, burning your capital down again.
You guys aren't real. You don't exist. You didn't burn the capital. The British did.
All right. Tiberius, go ahead.
All right, so this is some numbers I pulled a ways back. I just going a little bit off my head, but I want to talk about TV, radio, and internet. Television. The number one by viewership is Fox News here in the United States. Now, most people consider that right wing. I don't really want to play your litmus test right now. I'm just going to put them in these categories. Its viewership is bigger than the next three combined, which is CNN, MSNBC, and I can't remember where. I think it's like CBS. I think it is. Which are usually either known as center or somewhat center left. basically, while Fox is kind of alone in the wind when it comes to major television news, is that they have the viewership of almost everybody else combined, if not more. And it just depends on how the ratings are going that season, but it's huge. The second one's radio. Radio is absolutely dominated by conservative talk radio, and Rush was putting up huge fucking ridiculous numbers that was completely crushing NPR all the way up until its death. So in a large degree, that's absolutely dominated by right-wing talk. And then the internet's really weird because there's so much shit that it's really hard to eke out. As far as viewership, it looks like it's a little bit more left in that regard, but as far as content, it actually looks like the right has more sites and dedicated news that are more online, that are transcending into that. The Blaze is a great example. Breitbart is a great example of that. Started online, moving into other things that are bigger. That's kind of the litmus test that I pulled from the media about 2 years ago.
But there's less avenues for the right to go to. That's why. I mean, it's easier to have high numbers. I'm saying it's easier to have high numbers when you're Fox News and you're the only conservative mainstream media center, right? Like I wouldn't consider Blaze.
3 of the other networks combined don't even amount to the Fox News viewership.
Well,
what are you
maybe
talking about?
that's where that silent majority thing comes in, right? They're probably more conservatives, right? That don't just cry on the internet in front of everybody all year round.
That's hilarious.
The right believes in fascist hierarchical structures, right?
The silent majority is real.
Right-wing
that's how you
media
guys
does have more control and has more tap into viewership and listeners than left-wing media. As a matter of fact, there isn't even left-wing media out there. What kind of left-wing media are you talking about? Centrist, CNN, MSNBC? These are not left-wing media. These are status quo corporatist media.
What?
No, they're
CNN and MSNBC are who they are. They don't actually advocate for any real systemic change. They advocate straight up like girl boss woke capitalism type of shit. The most cynical, pointless implementations of like surface level identity politics that they same with the with the leaders of the
You had it.
Huh?
You had it.
Bro, you were on a roll.
So
Never
fuck.
died.
I'm sorry.
yeah, so
I have like a problem with doing that though. Oh, the fucking the high up leaders of the Democratic Party. The fucking high up leaders of the Democratic Party, the idea that they're like actually leftist makes me fucking laugh. Right. Because
but the leftists have no real representation in Congress because their ideas are fringe as fuck and nobody likes them.
The progressive lobby in the Congress right now is like 100 people strong. It's kind of ridiculous and scary.
It's actually crazy, but it's still nothing compared to like leftist. It's nothing compared to even like how much influence actual leftist movements have.
Can we define leftist though? Like, are we talking about like socialist, communist? How far are we going down the spectrum?
I'm even talking like center left, like Bernie Sanders, for example.
Green New Deal.
Bernie Sanders, for example. Here in the United States, we act like he's this like radical fucking like Soviet Union resurrectionist, but over in the UK, he would be like a standard member of the
he's like Tony
Labour
Blair.
Party.
He's the Tony Blair dude. Yeah, I get it. Or like Attlee.
A little bit better than Tony Blair because
he's
Tony
like
Blair's
Attlee,
like
the guy that
incredibly cringe, but I'd say maybe a better comparison would be like Jeremy Corbyn, and even then he's a pretty fucking controversial figure, so they dumped him for this for Keir Starmer, who I don't know much about, but I hear he's an incompetent jerk off and just driving labor into the ground. But yeah, like the fact that the farthest left people in Congress are like incredibly tame compared to go over to Europe and there's like actual fucking tanky parties that have like that will have seats in national legislature.
It's pretty easy to understand though. Like people want to choose what to do with their own money. Like it's very that's a very easily, maybe it's like center, whatever. People like to spend their money on what they want to spend their money on.
I would actually like to offer you a
Yeah, like
doesn't
politicians.
sound like you can really choose to do what you can do with your own money when your landlord extorts you for up to like 30%
So you buy
of
a
your
house.
salary. Or if you
Buy a
buy a
house.
house, you get a mortgage, they're extorting a shitload of that's also extorting a shitload
Yeah,
of
but
money.
when you
from
pay
you
it off, they
because the
can't extort
banks
you
operate-
anymore.
Do we
The
have to
banks
go down this
operate-
road?
Also,
Like,
this
When
is
you buy
going-
the
also,
house,
this
you
is
don't
going
owe the,
really
you don't have
far
to,
off
you don't deal with the.
topic. I apologize,
it's-
but
The problem is a lot of people can't afford to buy houses because there are a litany of other issues as far as economics and income goes. It's
Oh,
such an
if you
ignorant
decide-
statement. Well, just go buy a
Thanks.
house. Everybody's got
Yeah.
$10,000 to put down on a house.
I'm still
Sure.
renting, and I make
Exactly.
a lot of money.
The internet's top leftist bought a great house.
Yeah.
Remember?
You could buy a fucking house.
All right,
with
I want to
personal
phrase-
choices.
I want to throw it to Tiberius, and after that, like people who haven't talked a lot, Seren, Kitty, CTV, Trix. Go ahead,
Gotcha.
Tiberius.
Appreciate it, man. So I didn't want to get in the litmus test because I knew this is exactly where it was going to go, where it's like, hey, these guys are actually that left or not very left at all. I don't care. I just legitimately don't care that much.
Life brought me a shot. So nice.
Let's put a stake in the ground here, right? We can largely identify like at least what the right wing is in that regard. We can at least say that all right, these people are not the right wing. We can at least get on that board, right? So are these people actually treating Biden with any kind of scrutiny? The right's definitely been on that. Is that fair? I don't know. I was where we're trying to get. We derailed into leftism and what actually constitute that. And I
apologize for the part that I played in that. I'm sorry. But
it's fine.
I'm
It's
not-
easy. It's just we gotta fucking do better.
Very
It's
Canadian.
Fucking
Okay,
Canadians.
so you know what?
Are you Canadian? Is that why you're
I wanna-
apologizing?
Me, no. I just try to be polite on
okay.
these things. It's not like I'm the host. If I was the host, I would be as rude to people as I want to be.
Stop appropriating my culture.
Wow. There's a closet authoritarian right there for you. Anyway, so look, let's go here. Let's go here, right? So like, let's bring all this together. The news media, Biden leftists. Like, what do you think? And let's just get a show of hands. If you think that trying to systemically get rid of Americans' gun rights would be a part of leftist ideology, raise your hand. Nobody.
Be right back.
Nobody thinks that?
Are you aware of what the Socialist Rifle Association is?
Fucking
Have you
leftists
read
love
Marx
Did you
us.
at
not?
all?
Did you not hear
Even a little
the
bit.
How are we
question?
gonna kill the capitalists?
Did you not hear the question? I'll repeat the
Minecraft.
question in the hopes that like people didn't get the crud out of their ears and they're able to
Try it
understand what
another
was
time.
asked.
Try it one more time.
Okay, so do you think that leftist ideology would have them systemically get rid of people's rights to own a gun? Do you think that's a part of the leftist ideology?
See
No.
how many hands we get.
So nobody thinks that. So then
No.
whose ideology is it a part of?
Neolibs.
Neolibs.
Mine.
So neoliberals
So
are the ones that
Trix
want
is
to
a
get rid of
neolib.
guns, not
Got it.
leftists, right? So then
Yes.
here's where we're at, right? Biden is in fact a neoliberal because during on the campaign trail, one of the things that's still on his website now that he wants to do, there's a few things. He wants to hold gun manufacturers accountable. He wants to get weapons of war off our streets, ban the manufacture and sale of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, regulate possession of existing assault weapons under the National Firearms Act, buy back the assault weapons and high-capacity magazines already in our communities, reduce stockpiling of weapons, keep guns out of dangerous hands, require background checks for all gun sales, close the other loopholes in the federal background check system, reinstate the Obama-Biden policy to keep guns out of hands of certain people unable to manage their affairs for mental reasons, which President Trump reversed. So
Nobody has ever said that Biden was to the left. He is the most centrist, non-left president I think we've had in quite a while. No, he is definitely not a leftist or
So
anywhere
then-
near the left.
So then
Actually-
in reality, right? The obvious answer to whether or not Biden has been being covered fairly by the news media is yes.
No, it's not. I think
Oh,
you
it's not.
stumbled ass backwards into a great insight here. Hold on. Because if you think about it, right, you've got everyone's complaining about like right-wing media and left-wing media, right? The extremes that get the fucking views because we love to watch extremes, right? But then you have Biden, who's kind of in the middle left, right, as a neo-lib, right? So you got the lefty media shitting on him for a bunch of reasons, and you got the righty media shitting on him for a bit different reasons. At least if you're on one side, you have one side not shitting on you.
Hey, like I said, the presidential treatment, right?
Maybe, but I mean, think about it. All the most clickbaity takes that are going to get views and stuff are all going to all have to take a position where they got to shit on Biden because he's not really there. He's not really there for any of them. So maybe he's getting more unfairly treated than anybody. At least before with Trump, at least the right wing media was like, hey, I guess we got to give this guy a shot, right? Okay, left media, they're just mad at everyone until I don't know, Karl Marx gets elected or something, right? But I mean, now it's just like
Don't tease my dreams.
Shit on by anybody time. Oh my god, yeah, you're trying to grow into it, aren't you? All right.
I didn't want to go down this road, but apparently we're here. So the thing that I've got to give Biden is that
I got the T-shirt, just so you know.
I'm sure you do. Anyway, so getting back to where I was going to go or move to where it was that when it comes to the perception of Biden's a neo-lib. Some people would say that makes him right-wing now, which is so fucking weird, but okay, whatever. I usually consider those folks like very center-left, and in context to our leftist friends on the other side of the aisle is that he is definitely not a leftist. He's done a lot to actually piss on the lefties. He's got one of the most pro-corporate Democratic administrations that we've ever seen. So is the left-wing media largely backing him to a large degree? Yeah, the ones that are backed by big money. Now, if you're talking about like Occupy Democrats and Occupy Wall Street, which I don't remember if they actually have a thing. Sorry.
Young Turks.
Yeah. Young Turks, Occupy Occupy Democrat, stuff like that. They are railing on Biden and pretty much every chance they get. The problem is their viewership's actually not that good, even though there's like 100 of them. So the actual, hey, fair enough, man. The other side of that conversation I really wanted to get into was that, yeah, crunch was going on the fact that like Fox News is like the only major conservative television, but there's a counter to that, which is the viewership itself, where it dominates most of the traditional news as far as viewership. So overall, there might be, at least on television, less avenues for conservatives to go to. In overall viewership, they actually outnumber the left overall, completely, all combined. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I put on this orange hat so you guys could see me, so I'm here. Now you guys can see where I'm at. Good.
Wouldn't the concentration of viewers into a single kind of avenue also, I guess, limit the amount of views that would be considered mainstream right as well? Because if you have like I guess one channel, then that channel has to like kind of stick to a certain range of views, right? Whereas opposed to if you have more of, I guess, a decentralized model, there's a wider diversity of things that could be left, I guess.
Well,
real quick, sorry. I want to throw it to Trix switch, and after that I want to hear from I mean, jump if you want, but like I want to give the opportunity for Seren, Kitty, and Jason to talk to. So yeah.
Just in regards to viewership, I think that some news, so Fox and CNN, I'm just using them as the two examples because that's all that's been referenced pretty much. They really cater whatever they write for directly who's going to watch them. Like if they're going to say something, like if Fox News came out with something that was like leftist, a lot of their viewers would just like turn off, like they would go to something else. Like I don't think that would be good for them as like a business model. So I think that a lot of situations, I think that if Trump and Biden did the exact same thing, so like say that Trump did this one action when he was in office and Biden did this one action when he was in office, even if they were identical, I think that left-wing news, no matter what, would be like, good job, Biden, fuck Trump. And then right-wing media would be like, oh my god, Trump, you did such a good job on this. Biden, what the fuck was that? Literally, if they were the exact same action, purely because that just helps get their views, it helps their, it's entertainment. Thoughts?
I want to comment on that, but Siren's next, so I want to give her a chance, unless you don't want to talk.
It's pretty off. I guess back to what Tiberius was saying, I feel like we can't leave out online social media stuff because they have a huge impact on what people think. Even like older people go on the internet for their news, so I feel like just talking about the mainstream media is just leaving out a whole big chunk of where people get their news. I mean, I think even like Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, those are like the top 3 places where people get news.
Gotcha. To reply to Trix real quick, I largely agree with her, and that is the news just seems to me at this point it's openly partisan to the point where, you know, if one guy does this action, it doesn't matter what the ideology is or the policy is anymore. Is that if it's their guy, fuck them. If it's our guy, win. And it's driving me crazy. And I've seen this on both sides of the aisle. I'm not going to say that one side's doing it better and is maintaining principles. No one is. It's really fucking bad. Going back,
I 100% agree too.
Yeah.
100%. That's
Me
exactly the problem.
okay.
So-
Sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
No, I mean, I was just going to illustrate further. You know, I mean, that's what I've been saying. Is it's not no one should be playing the victim here, not the right side or the left side. Nobody should be playing the victim because everybody's got their champions. Everybody's got the people championing for them. You know, in the media, doing the bidding. You know, fueling that cognitive dissonance and that divide in our country. You know. And it's not one side or the other. We need to understand it's happening on both. We can't correct it until we realize that.
I want to get back to what Monty was talking to me about, but the only thing I'll say to this is that I'm waiting for one political party to say, look, this is our fucking principles, and having like curtailing not only their party structure but their media to follow those principles. Because right now it's not just the media, it's both parties, is that they'll say one thing and do something else constantly over and over again. And it's just like, who do you root for at this point? And I mean, and I'm shitting on both the Republicans and the Democrats. They both do it to an obscene degree at this point. But to get back to
CTV 2024.
fair enough. All right, to get back to Monty, which it looks like he's writing notes. What you were going with is that is it necessarily a problem that the right only has like one major avenue when it comes to television, being Fox, and not having multiple avenues that can curtail to sub audiences? I think the comment that you said was a little bit inverted, in that I think this actually makes for an easier right-wing mainstream that can serve a good or a very bad purpose. If Fox has the majority of the viewership, they can curtail a message that can be incredibly positive, that can mobilize the right wing into something that is very constructive and good. It also can serve a completely nefarious purpose as well. And I'm going to take a shot at Fox News. Fucking fire Tucker Carlson for openly saying that Great Replacement memes. Fuck that shit. No, not allowed.
That who replaced what?
Oh, Tucker Carlson started about 2 months ago, I think. Maybe it's been 3 now. Openly doing Great Replacement as online onboard talks.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Which blew my fucking mind. And Fox didn't fire him. Which,
I wasn't surprised, and I'm also not surprised that Fox didn't fire him, sadly, because that's the sad reality of especially the right-wing media is catering to this ever increasingly like openly racist living on
Wait
in
a
some
second.
other reality
Hold
demographic.
No. You literally have a president that the media carried the fucking water for. That was cool with the fucking, what was he, a Cyclops in the Ku Klux Klan, and a congressman went to his funeral, gave a eulogy, and you're talking about what right wing media is doing? Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah, he also plagiarized
one of your
those 2
guys'
speeches
though.
back
Stop
in the 80s.
gaslighting me. Don't gaslight me. Come on, man. Be real.
Gaslight.
I know you guys couldn't see me earlier because the camouflage. I got the orange hat on. Should be able to see me now. But Biden has literally signed racist legislation. Kamala Harris kept people in that were on death row
Are we
in
saying
jail
that-
after receiving
I
like
feel
you
like
guys
you
are like
said
this
multiple
administration is
times,
more
like,
racist
it's
than
not
ever,
like-
and you're trying to say that
We're
the
saying
right
it's
wing
not-
media is the problem. Like, come on. Get
yeah,
the
and I
fuck
think
out of
the
here.
right-wing media
We're just trying to go hunting.
One at a
alright?
time, please.
We're just trying to go hunting and own guns. That's it.
Mm,
And pay
Seren,
less taxes.
Seren Kitty, I think you wanted
And
to
ban
answer.
abortion in Texas.
You could go to another state. You know how many states that Texas shares a border with? Go to another state.
That's bullshit.
Well,
A lot of
oh,
people.
it's-
All right.
Do it.
Wait.
What an
Whoa!
Yeah. Be mad.
When I speak, no one speak. Next time I mute. The topic, just as a friendly reminder, is Biden's coverage by the media. How did we end up on abortion, please? I know that's a trendy topic right now, but
Well,
like, it's not on the menu.
let's-
I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's why it's relevant, right? Because Texas is one of the states, right? It is something that's happening in the news. It's relevant to Biden under his presidency. Real easy line to follow.
Yeah, but I don't want to go there. Let's just say, let's not go there, please.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, right? Crunch made his point. So I think now's probably a good time for outros to this topic, right?
Yeah, I think it's died down for a while, so yeah, let's go. Let's start with Crungelord.
Yeah. You know, I'm tired of being gaslit by people. You know, if you're gonna call a spade, then keep that same consistency. Keep it going. But if you're just gonna gaslight people on the right after you fucking spent 4 years of crying about this, crying about that, get the fuck out of here. I'm the Crungelord. Moving on.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Tiberius.
Oh, good. He's wanting to go outside. We'll make this quick. So, when it comes, shut up for a second. Just 1 minute. All right. So anyway, when it comes to what is in media, I am so sorry.
He's fine.
That's
Just
okay.
Keep talking, Tiberius. You fucking doing is making it last longer. Just
Yeah,
keep talking.
true. Yeah, I just got to give him the pets. Anyway, so when it comes to what's going on in the media, I largely put my thoughts as to where Biden was at the intro, so I don't want to repeat that. What I will say is that when it comes to how the media portrays anything, is that it does seem to be more openly partisan than it does be made on principles. We've seen this over and over again, and it looks like the panel largely was unanimous. I didn't get any real pushback from it, that neither side, on media or even within the political structure themselves, are maintaining any kind of principled consistency. That has to change. If we want a functional, better society, we have to be better fucking people. And this isn't going to work when we literally are having our political grudge match literally just amount to, they're the bigger asshole than us, so vote for us. And I'll end with that.
All right. I'm going to throw it to okay, one person duck, another disappeared.
Exactly a Mike
Wow.
moment, but okay.
Yeah, Montreal player. Let's go.
All right, let's go for it. You know what? Actually, all this, whatever, is Biden being portrayed fairly by the media? Probably not. I don't think it's possible, and there's a lot of forces why it wouldn't be. However, this whole kind of question had me left with one question: is it even fair to label media right or left? Like, would it be like more accurate to label by sponsors? Trix mentioned like CNN earlier, and I was thinking about like who are the ads right on this thing, right? CNN isn't left wing or right wing; they represent pharma, oil, and cars. Okay, I mean, if you've ever watched this thing, okay, that's literally who the commercials are. If you think like their opinions aren't endorsed by these industries and entirely, then that's what it is. Right or left, it doesn't matter. Follow the money. Okay, that's my thing.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Jason.
Yeah, kind of just to follow up on what Montreal was saying. That's what I've been saying the whole time. Biden's getting the presidential treatment. All these media companies and outlets cater to moneyed interests. They make their money off ad buys. They're going to do what keeps those ad buys coming in, no matter what that is. And if that means demonizing the person on the left because they have a right-wing audience, then that's what's going to happen. If it means demonizing the person on the right because they have a left-wing audience, if you want to call it that, that's what's going to happen. No matter what happens, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep getting those ad buys and keep creating revenue and generating money. That's what it's all about. It's about the Benjamins, baby. We all know that. Okay, so let's stop pretending that there's this big divide and that, you know, these people aren't doing this for a paycheck. That's what it all boils down to. There is no credible media anymore. And is Biden being treated fair? He's getting the presidential treatment, which is he's going to get shit on by one side and he's going to get glossed over all the crap that he does on the other side. And that's just the way it is.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Seren Kitty.
I guess to end it, I would say that I believe that Biden should be criticized more for the things that he does. And yeah, I guess I agree with the presidential treatment stuff. Yeah, that's all. That's all.
All right. I'm going to throw it to CTV.
Well, it's as much as I'd love to agree with Jason, right? Whenever he says that there's no legitimate media, I think that that goes counter to what I said to begin with. So here goes, right? Like individual content creators, like the people that you see on this panel, that are trying to get out there, find out what's going on, and put it out there. I don't think that they have like an inherent bias more so than their own personal philosophies. So as long as they're willing to admit that they don't know what the fuck they're, like what everything is, and this is the limited amount of knowledge that I have, and this is what I've been searching and trying to find it for you. This is where like you can get some more legitimate fucking news sources, but that's where like the streaming world is inherently different than like any of these mainstream news sources, because the people that are here are just everyday fucking people, just like you are, that are trying to find out what the truth is. And because of that, and then like the ability for people that are just continue to check out some of your other content, get to view who you are over time and be able to see like how consistent is this person? Are they actually putting on just a show, and there's disingenuousness between this behavior, that behavior, or are they actually who they say they are? And the more truth that comes out in that way is where I think you're going to end up finding the future of news media content. There's still going to be journalists obviously out there asking questions. There's obviously still going to be, news media is doing their thing. But in reality, I think that there might end up being more of a paradigm shift as far as the minds of everyday people, because they're going to get, people inherently want to find truth, and they can do that a lot better with people that they can interact with on a day or every other day basis.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Birbash Johnson.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with everything Jason here was saying about, the presidential treatment, especially from the most dominant, like old, what people will often call old media. And one thing that I was kind of trying to get at but didn't really get a chance to is like, I myself being like a further left person, go to my YouTube channel, like pretty like a lot of my videos are me talking shit on Democrats, but and the little left wing media you can find, I would actually say maybe they would even potentially give Joe Biden the potentially fairest treatment, because they're not trying to by this I mean the closest thing to like a really further left leaning like mainstream media outlet that I can think of is Democracy Now!, which has a very obvious lean but still does like quality investigative reporting on things and whatnot, and they've been very critical of the Biden administration themselves, just not the same type of way that Fox is, where it's very obviously because they're partisan bias to like the direct other side that supposedly Biden is, when he's really not that much further left than the like more tame Republicans. But anyhow, another thing that we need to think about with when it comes to talking about objectivity in journalism is we should try to achieve it, but true objectivity it doesn't exist. It's not possible. And like embracing that notion is part of the reason why gonzo journalism happened and whatnot. And so that's another thing that we need to consider when we're consuming media. I try to consume media from like as many different sources as I possibly can, for the reason that it is not possible to have a completely truly objective account of something. And I wish it, like, for the most part, more people would do that, because this is especially a problem with, like, the Fox News and Newsmax viewers, but also a problem with MSN and NBC viewers. They tend to, just like the same way that, as a culture, we've built a cult around the office of the President of the United States and whoever's holding it. We also a lot of people have like built this cult around the things that they get their fucking news from. That's a really bad mentality, and that's something that we do need to like work on as a societal level, even outside of the outlets themselves. But the closest thing that you could really have to like an objective journalist is somebody like fucking Jim Lehrer, who was the old anchor of the NewsHour on PBS. That guy was so committed to trying to be objective that he didn't fucking vote. So I'm sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. It was stuff that I like wanted to say, and I figured I'd sum it up with that. Basically, we could sit here and bicker over who's covering Biden more fairly or harshly, whatnot, and then let it go into other diatribes. But yeah, that's one thing I agree with Jason, and also Tiberius was talking about it too. I think they're pretty spot on with that.
All right, and I'm going to throw it to Trix switch.
I think, yeah, as long as the two sides of the media keep playing the is my audio good?
You're good.
Sound great.
Okay, so as long as the two sides of the media keep playing up the whole like, oh, this guy's on our team, we're gonna make this coverage really fucking incredible. This other guy did something that our guy also has done or whatever, but like he's not on our team, we're gonna scathe him. I think the whole thing comes off very bullshit. It's like entertainment. It feels like I'm watching like a kid's football game, and I like, oh, I know who this channel's cheering for, that news channel's cheering for the other team. They don't actually give a shit about policies. They only care about the ad rates, the sponsors, and how many clicks their articles are getting. Yeah, I have a big problem with major news media. I hate them.
Feel like everybody should.
All right, and with that being said, I think that concludes this topic. Real quick, before jumping into the palette cleanser, give me just a sec. Yeah, I just wanted to say, first of all,
closing statements.
No, we just finished.
Okay, it's over. All right, cool.
Yeah, sorry. Before jumping into the next topic, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for being here, and also for everyone in basically everyone's community. Please go follow our panelists. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to be here and everything. It's really appreciated. And speaking of, yeah, none of this would be possible without the wonderful work of Danabo, who is working really hard behind the scene. I know that you all got an invite from him, so yeah. You know how, yeah. So if you want to support him...
Danabo's back, baby.
Hell yeah. If you want to support him, twitch.tv/Danabo, and also shellshockcbd.com. Code Danabo and you get 10% off your order. And yeah, with that being said, bonus topic.
Yeah, Geek. There's a reason I haven't sent you the bonus topic. All right, so I'm gonna tell you the bonus topic right now. So there's no opening statements on this. You just go into it, and I want Geek to start off with this. I want to know what you think the most important part of a pizza is. Is it the dough, the base? Is it the sauce? Or is it the toppings? And then I want you to tell me why it's the base. Right, go.
Wait, Danabo, can you tell me, like, did you say pizza?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's what you were
The
trying to say.
most important part of a pizza. Is it the dough? The base? Is it the sauce? Or is it the toppings? And then I want you to explain to me why it's the dough. Go. Geek.
If you like a pizza for the dough, you basically like a sandwich for the bread. That's all I have to say.
I'm on push to talk, but
What's wrong with liking the sandwich for the bread, you fucking bigot? Bread bigot?
If you like the bread, just take the bread. Don't get a
There's only
sandwich.
two answers here. It's sauce or dough. If you choose anything else, you don't know pizza. All right. That's it.
Yes, sauce or dough would be the base, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
I
go
love
with
how
salad.
basically this
like-
is a bad joke from Danabo that is backfiring on him because he thought that he will make a point with the dough, but like no one is agreeing with him, which I'm happy with.
It's the base.
Except Danabo. Yeah, it's totally the dough. You're fucking nuts,
No,
geek. You're
It's a
fucking nuts.
sauce.
No,
It's
it's
a
not the
sauce.
sauce. No.
It's the
sauce,
sauce.
hey,
Because
it's
bad
the
sauce will make the whole
Look,
pizza
there's
taste
there's
horrible.
inherently like a difference between like Papa John's crust and Pizza Hut's crust, right?
Look, guys, I don't think you
Or,
understand.
Like,
I don't
and
think you
even go
understand.
into the fucking sandwich realm, like there's a difference between Subway breads, right? Like you can have white
No,
bread, you can have
you
fucking
don't do good. You
Italian
don't do
herb
good
and
pizza.
cheese.
You don't
You
do
get all
good
different types
pizza.
of
You're in
bread,
Florida.
right?
I'm
Like,
You don't
invoking
know
your
good
alcohol
pizza.
status, dude.
Look,
This
I'm
is-
up
this
here.
is
And
I'm up here on the
then,
East
then
Coast.
also you can get the fucking thin crust, right?
I'm up here in the Northeast. I was just in Atlantic City. Okay, I know. Okay, and my family's from New Jersey, New York. All right, look.
No, don't
you
say it.
Look. Dough and sauce work together like this. You can't separate those two things because
Yeah.
if
Oh,
dough
bullshit.
is shit and the
No.
sauce is good, then you still have a shit pizza. But you have to have dough and sauce, the toppings or whatever. That's why, like, if you ever get a
Right.
good slice of $2 pizza in like New York City and it's banging, it's usually cheese. There's no toppings on it. It's just cheese.
Yeah,
And
but
you're
even
just
the
fucking
sauce is
slamming that
interchangeable
shit
because
drunk on in like Times Square, Manhattan, or wherever the fuck
yeah,
you're
but,
at.
but even the
Queens.
sauce is interchangeable because depending on the crust, you might not use the same fucking sauce, right? Example, when you get a thin crust, right, you might get a fucking
There's only
get
one crust.
a chicken
No, good
Parmesan
sauce is
fucking
good
pizza
sauce.
No
with
difference
some ranch
when you
fucking
go up-
dressing as a sauce,
When
right?
you go to the pizza capital
Yeah,
of the world,
so there
there's
ain't
only
no
one
fucking-
crust, and it is
There's
thin.
no red sauce
it
on
doesn't
that.
get.
So what?
We're
what's
not
that?
talking about Chicago fucking AIDS pizza. We're talking about real pizza, okay? New
Okay,
York
you can
style.
stop right now.
And there's only
It-
one.
AIDS
And there's
pizza!
only one crust. Okay,
The
Tiberius,
closer
you're
you
about to
get,
think.
the
Are you
closer
about to?
get to Chicago, the better the pizza is. And if
No,
you disagree with that,
Chicago
you don't
is
know shit.
lasagna. It's lasagna and it's not pizza. Moving
care.
on. All right,
That's
when
real
we're
pizza.
talking about pizza,
It's
The most
called deep
important
dish,
part-
baby. Let's fucking
it's
go.
fucking lasagna. It's not pizza.
Hey, you know what? If you have
My wife and
pizza
kids
that
are at
is
home.
so-
I'll yell at you about pizza all night.
You're
all
welcome
right?
to try it, man. If your pizza is so fucking badass that it turns into a half lasagna, you've done it right. I don't care.
It's time to yell,
myself a
ladies.
pizza
It's time to
expert.
yell.
I have the One Bite app from Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports, so I kind of know how pizza,
Why do you
like
keep
how pizza's
referencing
supposed
people
to
that
be.
no one cares
right?
about? What the
You don't
fuck?
even know. You don't even know, dude.
Yeah,
A pizza is worth more than the hold on. A pizza is worth more than the
Dude,
sum
you're
of its
from
parts.
Canada.
Okay?
They don't even
That's
have
like
pizza
telling-
up there,
no,
bro.
yeah,
You
no,
guys probably
no,
put mayonnaise
shut it,
and
fool.
corn on
Shut
shit.
it, fool. Okay, that's like saying I only love this man for his giant deck. Okay,
You don't even
okay.
like
A
pizza.
deck
You're
is
from
nice.
Canada.
A
You're
deck
from
is nice. It's
Canada.
very
They don't have
enjoyable.
pizza
But
there.
there's a
They
lot
don't
more
even have-
things that go into a man than a deck. Okay.
They don't even have pizza there in Montreal. You can't talk
What
about pizza. You don't. It's something you know nothing
We have a
about.
better pizza. We have better pizza than you could ever
You
imagine.
probably put
okay?
fucking mayonnaise and vinegar on your pizza up there.
There's
and
a lot of
fucking
Ita-
fuck
there's
You know
that.
what? We
Yeah.
have some vinegar on the pizza. I still think.
All right.
Danabo, why'd you do this to us?
Danabo, I love you. Thank you.
I'm a pizza. I've been a pizza delivery guy or just a food delivery guy in general for like all.
True,
my
we got an
career.
expert.
So if anybody, for those Ians who have not worked in that line of work, my opinion's automatically worth more than yours. But yeah, the whole pizza being more than the sum of its parts is actually a pretty based opinion on fucking pizza construction. But
Of course, it's based. I said it.
Yeah.
Wait, what are our thoughts?
The base, the crust is definitely something important because mother of God, I cannot. Or actually, no. The most important part is the oven. You can make the most garbage fucking ingredients taste fucking good cooking it on a real stone. Whereas you
God.
can put great ingredients through a conveyor belt oven and it still tastes like shit. I worked
Oh my
in a
God.
place that had like farm to table meat, but cooked it on a conveyor belt oven and it still tasted like fucking shit. That's the ultimate truth about pizza.
Oh my God! Typical leftist blaming pizza quality on fucking capitalism.
Oh my god.
Now here's the reality. There's only one real answer to this question, and nobody here has even came close. I know Danabo is about to let everybody know that the only answer that is acceptable to this question is Lego
Pineapple.
Batman.
Oh
What the hell is Freems doing here?
I heard you guys needed someone with some thicker bones to come in and talk about pizza real quick.
Let's go.
Who?
No,
who
Tannabo, this is supposed to be the fucking palate cleanser, and you bringing up pizza. This is an abomination.
No,
Alright,
this is the new main topic
It's
of
not
the
a palate
show
cleanser.
now.
I'm so mad right now that people think Chicago pizza is good. You know, I'd rather eat a shingle from a roof with like AIDS blood on it than fucking Chicago pizza. All right.
If you need a spoon
Fucking
to eat
lasagna.
Chicago
It's not
pizza,
pizza.
it can't be good pizza.
It's absolutely delicious, Trix.
Who
I
said
like
If you
it.
need
I
a
like 'em
spoon
both.
to eat it, it's not good.
These
I
are
like
like
'em
This is not a pizza, first of all.
pizza in half
Look.
before they eat it.
So
These are takes
it's
that
all
people
about the
that don't fold
execution.
their pizza.
If you're
are making
not
these
used
takes.
to it for the first time, sometimes you need a spoon. We'll get you trained up. We'll teach you the ways of the Chicago
No, you,
pizza.
you don't fold your pizza. You're not human. You're from a space
Oh,
planet
Why
yeah.
would you fold your
that I don't want to be
pizza?
friends with. We should nuke you. We're gonna nuke your planet.
What
If you
the
fold a
fuck,
pizza,
dude?
that's just a sandwich. A folded
Yeah,
pizza
but you
is
don't
a
like
sandwich.
dogs, so your opinion's invalid.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's a Stardust
is.
thing. We're not on the Stardust Chaos Cast. Okay, fucking
I don't
pizza
know who that
folded. There's a whole like coast that's like 1,000+ miles all the way down the East Coast where they fold their pizza in half so they don't dump grease all over their lap like a bunch of morons. Okay, you don't
How
understand
greasy
it.
is your fucking pizza?
How do you dip? How do you
Very.
dip your pizza in ranch? How do you get your crust in ranch if you don't fold it? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You don't even
No,
understand.
ranch is fucking gross.
You guys
I
don't
mean,
fucking
go ahead
understand
and enjoy that
pizza,
shit if
all
you
right?
want. But
You don't know the $2. You get the $1.50 $2 slices in New York City. You guys have never had them, and it's clear. Okay, you guys are a bunch of
Crungelord thinks he has amazing pizza because he dips everything in
non-intellectuals.
alcohol.
Freems, help me, please. I hope you don't like Chicago pizza because I'll just leave the
No,
panel.
fuck,
I'm leaving
fuck
the panel.
fuck Chicago pizza.
Yes,
Like-
it's lasagna. It's not pizza.
Who would ever be like the best pizza comes from the Midwest? No, fuck that.
Hey,
Fuck
Freems,
no, bro,
I
that Chris
think
Farley
you're-
pizza.
you're
Fuck you,
just
Tiberius.
unmuted on.
All right, all right,
just
all right.
unmuted on the website.
I'm sorry. I know we said no.
Sorry, I don't get invited on panels much these days.
Yeah, let's go. Frames, you got the floor.
Me neither.
Who said bread? Who said the dough?
I said
Mr.
dough and
Geek-
sauce. I said
No. Me, I say sauce. I just want to say I say sauce.
It's both. It's dough and
sauce. No,
sauce.
it's sauce.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
It's
well,
both.
though, of course it's
not
you can't
sauce.
say,
It's pretty
you can't say
fucking
it's
important.
both. If you have to pick one or the other, you got to pick one.
All
or
right, I
the
picked sauce.
other. Okay. Well, shit. There's not that much contentious stuff being said besides the fucking deep dish takes.
Yeah.
Who is
fucking-
that?
Yeah, whoever say deep dish, I'm sorry, you're
Is
wrong.
anyone checking
Tiberius,
on Tiberius?
I'm not conservative anymore because Tiberius fucking likes Chicago deep dish.
Get out of my
I'm out of here, bro. I'm
Get
out of
off
here.
my lawn.
This is why no one hears from Tiberius anymore. Because of these fucking takes.
Fucking lasagna pizza, you fucking
You-
madman.
You all can eat my ass. Midwest represent. Let's go.
What kind of would your ass be the most important part of a pizza at this point?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
You guys want me to really piss you off? The
Yeah,
most
what's that?
important part of the pizza is the pineapple.
Get him out of here. Ban him. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
He is banned. He is banned. I'm sorry.
Get him out of here. He doesn't belong.
That's
Pineapple does not
okay.
go on pizza. Get him out.
Oh, it
Get him.
totally does.
Hold on.
And I'm
No.
sorry. I'm
Anything
sorry.
belongs on
Your little
Pineapple pizza-
immature,
Not
What is
anything.
it
You
called?
want
palate
anchovies
isn't
on that
evolved
pizza?
enough to handle it.
Yeah.
What do they call? What do they call
Wait,
pineapple
wait.
on pizza? Is it a Hawaiian?
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah, that's
ham and
racist.
pineapple.
That's
Listen,
racist.
pineapple and ham.
All right.
Racist. Get him out.
Real quick. Whoa. 1 minute.
I like pineapple on pizza. All right. Chill.
First of all,
I'm just kidding.
I want to hear from critically thinking veteran. I want to hear the take.
You
I
want to
know what
hear
they're
the
doing.
take?
Yes.
From the
We swapped
Wolficorn?
out. So Wolficorn is taking CTV's spot.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna get.
Hell
All right.
yeah.
The topic is what is the
sweet tea,
most.
by the way, best sweet tea in Florida, made by the Wolficorn.
Thank you, Crunch.
Speaking of tea, spill
Got you,
it.
babe.
Give us all the tea on
T-E-A.
CTV.
Sweet tea.
This panel is quickly devolving into chaos. I just want to say this.
I have a resolution to this, okay? To all the people who said that they prefer sauce, do you eat the crust of the pizza when you eat the pizza?
No.
Yes.
With
What does that
butter.
got to do with anything?
Oh yeah.
Because if
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't eat the crust, that means you're not a real pizza eater. The crust.
Well,
is
I'm
really-
not
I eat the
gonna
crust.
The
Oh,
crust is
what
delicious.
kind of
No, don't get me
argument
wrong.
is this? Get
Here's the
lost.
thing.
One bite,
This is what
everyone
I was
knows the
saying.
rules.
Bad sauce will give you heartburn.
What if I'm cutting carbs?
Listen, don't listen to him. He's the
Why are you eating this in
joker.
the first
He's
place?
just here to sow chaos.
Montreal,
That's
you're in
it.
Canada. Nobody cares about your pizza takes.
They don't
These
even
guys
have pizza
even
in
eat
Montreal.
fucking
You care so
pizza.
much about my pizza. I'll come on a fucking piece of
You guys
dry
just-
pita
you
and
guys
we'll
just
run
eat
it.
fucking moose. You just eat moose and whatever the fuck else. Canadian bacon, which is ham. I don't get that at all. You guys are a bunch of morons. Look, Binks, go ahead.
I'm done.
Of course, bacon is ham.
All right, Trix switch. Go ahead. Your take.
Hold on, is bacon and ham is the same fucking food? First of
you.
all.
Not
Second
in
of all,
America.
anything goes on a pizza,
No, it's not.
and it's a
Stop.
pizza. You can
Skip.
have a dessert pizza, where you get the fucking like
Exclamation point,
chocolate and ice
skip.
cream on it. That's
No,
a pizza.
I actually disagree.
You can have anything.
I feel
You
like
can have anything on a pizza and call it a pizza.
No, listen,
no.
listen. We're getting. I hate when people get into this like perverted territory where they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna take some sugar cookie and make it in a big circle, and they put fruit on it. It's a fruit pizza." No,
I'm talking dough. I'm
fucking
talking dough.
food pervert. It is not.
I'm talking
Bro, I've
pizza
been to
dough.
Australia. I've been to
Pretty
Australia.
sure
Their
they like
pizza is
pineapple on
fucking
pizza, okay? I'm not
shit.
taking-
Okay, their pizza in Australia is fucking shit.
We have the
I took
exact
the-
same pizza
look,
as you.
I took the pop filter off my fucking mic just to tell you how shit their pizza is in
We have the
Australia.
same
I've been to
pizza.
Melbourne, I've been to Sydney, and I've been to Perth. All their pizza is fucking shit.
That's the
Trix,
difference between pizza
Trix,
and
mute your
pizza.
mic. Mute your mic. Moving on. Next person. Go ahead.
All right, can I go? Can I go with an
Yes.
actual take here?
I want to hear Montreal answer.
All right, hold on. Okay. Look, there's a lot of great parts of pizza. Okay, you got the bread, you got the sauce, you got the toppings. Okay, but the one thing that makes pizza fucking fantastic, okay, and is the most important part. The most important part of pizza is the motherfucking weed, baby. It's the
Vinegar, 'cause they're
motherfucking
in
weed.
Canada.
Okay.
All right,
Look
yeah,
at
that's right. It's
vinegar on
legal
the
here. Can you smoke weed? Can you smoke weed legally? I can.
Yes,
I
you
can
can.
put it on
Yeah,
pizza.
I can
I
smoke
put
weed.
it in large quantities and put it on pizza. Shut the fuck up. You're in the
You
United
own
States.
guns?
You don't
Can
say
you
anything,
not?
okay?
How much
So
do
what
you
I
you're
can
saying
tell you I'm
is-
good.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Guns are legal, no
Okay,
problem.
I'm going to start muting people.
Weed.
In Canada,
I'm-
you gotta be high to eat their pizza. Is what he's saying.
Wait, I had a question for
This is gonna
your
drive me
Brad,
to smoking weed.
Johnson. You said you were a pizza delivery driver. What like restaurant? Is it like a major chain?
Nah, I've never worked for any of the major chains. Actually, I've only worked for small independent joints. And then one time I worked for like a joint that was like a local joint that had 2 locations, but the people who owned it like really wanted to be like the next Papa John's, and they were scumbags.
Wait, like Papa John's is good?
Papa John's is delicious. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Oh fuck!
I don't know why these
I'm-
people wanted to.
Look,
That
look,
was this is
Richard-
the place that I was talking about when I was saying like, yeah, that this is how I know from experience that you can take like really high quality, like supposed like farm to table ingredients that are like locally sourced and expensive as shit. And they'll still taste like shit if you put them through a fucking conveyor belt oven.
Look,
like
Beer Bash Johnson, I need you to
He's really
DM me.
capitalism.
I need you to DM me because I feel like if you delivered my pizza, it would taste better. So we'll talk about pizza and shit. We'll have to do that at a later date. But
Yeah,
Hey, do you
beer
make
bash-
sexy
I feel like
deliveries?
All right.
I feel
You
like
can
Beer
tell
Bash
there's
Johnson.
levels.
All right, all right, all
a
right.
Bush latte and be like, "Yo, let's shotgun," and then you hand you your pizza, and I'll be like, "Bro, yeah, it would be a good deal."
All right, real quick. Sorry. Wolficorn hasn't had the chance to give a take about like what is the most important thing on a pizza. The dough.
Of course, no, the stuffed crust dough. I love light sauce, not very heavy. Heavy cheese. I want that shit melty. When you pull it apart, it is just coming apart. Hey, that's my opinion. It doesn't have to be necessary what you like, but it is mine. I like
Wolfcorn.
it completely supreme, the whole 9 yards.
Wolfcorn, I love the lunch that you cooked me in CTV and the sweet tea and stuff, but you don't know fucking shit about pizza.
Man.
Hey,
This is why I think
love
Crunch
you,
is
though.
actually
I love you.
Crunch
I
is
love
just
you.
a crypto
Yes.
leftist. Crunch is actually a leftist because he has these pretentious ass takes. He's like, oh well, the New York is the best.
He really is.
In the
Shut the fuck up, bro. I live in
You
Maryland.
really
okay?
are. You really are. You really are a crypto leftist. It is
Bro,
insane.
I'm wearing
You have so
camouflage.
many
I have a fucking...
leftist takes. It's insane. Last time I talked to you, I'm like, isn't that a leftist position? Isn't that a leftist position? Isn't that a leftist position?
Shut up.
It's
You don't know
true.
what I'm
Monty
fucking
is the
talking
real
about.
right
I've
winger
got like
because he's
guitars and
literally like,
guns
yo,
in my
I just want to
fucking
be high and eat pizza.
backdrop.
That's the conservative.
I
thing,
shot a
right?
crossbow on my stream. I live in Maryland, but I live in like the western
called
side of
virtue
Maryland,
signaling.
where all
That's called
the
virtue
weirdos.
Oh,
live,
so you
right?
didn't buy your meat through capitalism? Oh, that's very
No,
leftist
I
of you.
hunt my meat because I'm not a pussy like all you Canadians. that own guns.
Hey,
Okay.
It's fucking. Hey, the rut's coming. I'm going.
I filled my freezer last year, and I didn't buy groceries for a fucking till now. Now I need to kill deer. I got one
very
week where I
leftist
bought
of you.
burgers on
I
fucking.
will field dressing,
Hey,
sir.
wait,
You don't even understand.
Crunch literally said he was going to go to Bonnaroo last week. Okay, that's how much of
It got canceled. I had to go to Atlantic City instead and gamble and lose all my money. But this weekend, we're gonna go hunting.
All
Don't
right.
worry about
still
it.
call bullshit.
Frames. Got something to add?
No, I'm done.
No, well, this is a while back, but someone was talking about eating crust or whatever. I guess a good way to break it down is if you're eating a pizza and you had to choose, would you rather eat a bowl full of the toppings or just the bread?
The toppings.
Exactly.
The bread.
Toppings
Bread.
with the sauce. Yeah.
It's like
I'd
Just
rather
no bread,
eat
no
the
sauce,
sauce.
no anything. Just
I'll take
pizza dough, any oven, no toppings.
I'd
You just
rather
want a
have
bowl?
just like a bowl of sauce
Cheese
and the
and
fucking
pepperoni?
and the bread.
No,
I'll
you
take
don't
the
get-
toppings.
You don't get
Can I have
both.
those?
You don't get
Both
bread
options are
and
awful, by the
and
way. Both
toppings.
options are.
That
I
actually
don't want to do
sounds
either
really
No,
one.
it's like tomato soup. You just dip the fucking the dough right
don't
in
like
the fucking
soup.
sauce. That sounds way better.
All right.
Yeah, I
bread
like
Uh,
that.
Serengeti, we didn't hear from you a lot. What's your take?
So I would say, first of all, I'm 4% Italian, and I would say that the most important part is the crust, the dough. I think yeah.
Oh my
I like how
god,
you
you're
come
wrong.
in with, I'm 4% Italian.
That.
How many
Not
Italian
the
are you? How many
olives,
percent
not
Italian
the
are you?
tomatoes,
4%
not
Italian.
the.
She's literally 4% Italian. How percent Italian are you? 0.
Look,
No wins.
here's my problem. They need
But
to
no,
make
no,
boudin
you've had
pizza.
an
Me and
Italian
Banks
in you?
agrees. Boudin pizza.
Sorry, Wolficorn, what did you say?
I said, does it count if you've had an Italian inside of you? I mean, that would make me part Italian at a time, right?
All right, that's saucy.
That's
saucy.
another debate. I think that's a debate for another day.
thank you so much.
That's a whole different kind of sauce.
I thought this
Yeah.
was supposed to be a palate
All
cleanser.
right.
I'm like angry that people like Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, I agree with
This
that.
is
For the record, I would forego the bread, the toppings, and just give me the weed.
But
I'd rather
that
just-
being
I
said,
would rather
okay.
eat, like sand on the beach, and like when you get the sand,
That's
in
because
the
you're a
bag of
degenerate.
chips, and you actually crunch, you don't know there's sand in the bag of chips, and you crunch.
You
into
just
it,
didn't have the munchies bad enough.
and you're like,
That's
oh
all it is.
fuck, my teeth. I would rather
Right.
have that feeling like nonstop than eat Chicago deep dish.
All
It
right,
is.
and with that being said, I don't know if we can say that our palate has been cleansed, but yeah, I think it's time to move on. But yeah, I just wanted to thank Frames for coming by. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Y'all, you guys have a good rest of the panel.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Twitch.tv/Frames. Really good dude. And Binks too, even if he left. Yeah, Twitch.tv, Binks_BB. 2 wonderful people. Go drop them a follow.
Yeah, he's doing a cryptid stream too about Bigfoot and shit coming up. And Binks is based. We all like Binks.
Hell yeah. All right, and with that being said, I think we're going to jump into the next topic, which is... All right. Should we sympathize with anti-vaxxer that died from COVID? And I'm going to start with Jason.
So should we sympathize with the COVID anti-vaxxer who died from COVID? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely we should. They're victims of misinformation. They made a poor choice based off of misinformation. They were sold a bill of goods that wasn't accurate. And as a result, they lost their lives. We should definitely care about that. It's still a life lost. I care about a life
Wait,
lost.
that's opening statement. Sorry.
Give me a moment.
Whoa. That's opening statement.
Look, pizza
Jason,
guy, it's
go
too early. Wait.
So
I'm going to start muting people. Sorry, go ahead.
Do I like the fact that they chose not to get vaccinated? No, absolutely not. I think that everybody should be vaccinated and make that choice. It angers me that people don't do that. But the simple thing is it's still a life lost. It's still a family that was robbed of somebody important to them. You know, and so no, I'm not going to vilify them in their death because they made a bad decision based off of poor information in their life. I can't do that. That's where I sit with it.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Crungelord.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, I don't know how old this guy was or whatever. I mean, I know I've seen a lot of little polls going on leftist chats, i.e. Vosh, that just says fuck them, you know. But at the end of the day, right, these are human beings. And if you can't explain to them good enough, I mean, like, people are dumb. We all know people are fucking stupid. But if you can't talk them into getting the vaccine, I mean, I was in the military. I get all the vaccines. I'm vaccinated. But I understand why people aren't getting vaccinated is because this has been so politicized where people feel like it's like a right-wing take or a left-wing take to get vaxxed or not get vaxxed. I think that's the issue. I feel bad that people are dying, but I don't know, was it the vaccine that would have kept him from dying? Or was this some like 450-pound fucking fat fuck that didn't care about like personal like well-being or any of those things, and then they died? You know? Those are things to take account. I mean, it's not like a single issue. You probably have to look into it deeper. Like, oh, this guy had diabetes, and he was like 500 pounds, and he was anti-vax, and then he died. I don't think it would have made a difference whether he got a vaccination or not, but, I mean, we'll see, I guess. That's my take.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Seren, Kitty.
I will say that that we should absolutely show sympathy for people who fell for misinformation and propaganda. Like Jason said, most of them have been misled and lied to, pretty much deceived into not getting vaccinated. And I think my lack of sympathy lies with people like Joe Rogan, who, you know, are like the propagandists who go and spread that misinformation, and now he's spreading even more by doing the ivermectin stuff. And I guess I would respond to Crungelord. If you die when you have the illness or when you have COVID, you're dying from COVID. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like your state of being. The illness killed you.
All right. I'm going to throw it to Tiberius.
Cool. I'm of two minds in this, and there's where one starts and then there's one where one ends. So the first part is that I've been talking about misinformation, trust in institutions for a very long time now. I am a right winger, and I've openly said that one of the problems among the right is that for a while we had this whole thing we were going to criticize institutions because we were kind of raised that way. That's kind of a Reagan era over effect where, hey, you know, the institutions aren't always going to be there for you. You need to have self-responsibility. You need to take care of yourself. The problem is that now that is now like hit critical mass and terminal velocity to the point where most right wingers are very openly skeptical of the institutions that we have, and that's across the board. Under that, guys, I am sympathetic because a lot of people don't trust their institutions. But on the other side, where that completely ends, is that people are openly going up to the medical professionals, or if you will, looking at the medical community, and they're saying, hey, look, get your vaccine. It is going to help you. There are complications, but it's not hard to figure out what they're actually trying to say. And you have millions upon millions of people that are openly going, no, I'm smarter than them. There's a level of either just Dunning-Kruger or hubris there that I cannot respect, and my sympathy completely goes out the window when it hits that point. I'm sorry, but most of the medical community is smarter than you when it comes to medical shit. And if you want to tell them that they're not good, then you're putting your own life in your hands. And I'm not going to have a lot of sympathy regarding that. We'll get into the technical details in the aftershot. So that's my opening statement.
All right, I'm going to throw it to CTV. Oh, sorry, Wolficorn.
Oh, yeah. I gotta change that back. So, while I'm doing that, let's lay the framework here, right? Which is, there's a lot of people that Tiberius said for whatever reason end up not trusting their government. They end up not trusting them because they understand incentivation, right? So, like the loss of your sympathy for these people because they can understand the incentivization of these organizations to for whatever it is that they're incentivized to do. Like at the core of it, right? What we have is government doing a thing for decades that has led to the level of distrust that these people, right, have between the government in this one instance. It could just be that you just have people out there that are like, it's my fucking body, and if I don't want to fucking do it, oh fucking well, right? Like, I just don't want to do it. And in any case, whatever it is, right, that person has to make the choice at the end of the day. Now, whether or not you can choose to show sympathy, right, should really just come down to your own basic humanity, right? Because if it's, you know, like you can look at someone that's, you know, walked out in front of a bus, right, and they got hit, but it didn't kill them when they're fucking laid out there, you know, like on fucking GTA, you know what I mean? They're fucking laid out there, their fucking legs are broke, whatever the case is, you're like, you know, you can feel some sympathy for that person, right? Even though you know their dumbass is the one who walked in front of the fucking bus. But that doesn't mean you don't stop, you know, motherfucking call an ambulance, you know, hey, you know, like, what can I do to help you in this moment? You know what I mean? Unless you're just that completely cold-hearted asshole that just says, well, they're fucking problem, and he just carries on, and there ain't a soul around. You know, so it really, that in and of itself is going to come down to the individual as well. So I think that basic humanity, right? Regardless of the choices that people make, it's one of those where it's like, there's no reason not to, unless you're just, unless you feel no empathy. And I think that empathy is one of those gateways to sympathy. So.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Trix switch.
Like someone would have the same opinion as me, and now I feel like an asshole. If someone's an anti-vaxxer and they die of COVID, okay, move on. I'm not gonna celebrate. I don't think we should celebrate their death. I think that's wrong. But I'm also not gonna take a moment and be like, "Aw, damn!" Like they were actively putting other people in danger, yet somehow the community expects us to feel bad when they're like, they couldn't give a shit about us. They are actively like trying to like hurt those who can't get vaccinated. So I don't think they're showing any sympathy or empathy. So I don't understand why they expect it to be shown back to them, if that makes sense.
So Trix confirmed to leave the guy after he got hit by the bus.
Beerbash Johnson.
And Trix, the camera's frozen.
Yeah, true.
I know.
I forgot.
My internet's really bad.
Rip. But yeah, so I must say it's actually something of a sigh of relief to hear somebody like Tiberius say that they're like a generally right-leaning person and that they find it frustrating that there is such hubris and Dunning-Kruger effect in these people that like that are
Chris.
like
He just learned that shit last week.
Anyhow.
What?
Sorry, I've had a few drinks. That's part of the reason why I keep stumbling on. But anyways. Yeah, so hubris, Dunning-Kruger effect. That's it makes me it gives me a little bit of relief when I encounter somebody who's on the right that hasn't just like brought hook, line, and sinker into this complete cult of individualism with seemingly no care of the consequences for other people, and that's part of the reason why. So when it comes to the actual question at hand, do I feel sympathy for like COVID-19 anti-vaxxers and denialists who catch COVID-19 and die? Well, that depends. There are some people who are generally just like way too easily led and easily conned to get suckered into believing this like absolutely completely unscientific, well, straight up pseudoscientific bullshit about COVID-19 and the vaccine, who then catch it and die. And then regardless of the person who is in question that caught COVID-19 and died, I feel, especially if they die, I feel sympathy for them, for like, if they like left behind a family or something, I feel sympathy for those people. It's more difficult though to actually feel the sympathy for the person especially when it's somebody, say, like Joe Rogan, who is somebody with this massive platform or something like that, using it irresponsibly or otherwise being a fucking dildo about their like hesitancy to get vaccinated against COVID-19. And the reason why, and another part of this reason is because it is such a massive disservice and so callously inconsiderate of those people who actually cannot get vaccinated against it. And this isn't just with the COVID-19 thing either. I've long had this, I've had this problem with people who are needlessly paranoid about vaccines in general. And so, and these people, the people who are the misinformation peddlers here are like, they're profiting off the vaccine, and then oh, but then go sub to my YouTube, go listen to my podcast on Patreon, buy my fucking vitamin water, or super male vitality or whatever, and they're ultimately the ones profiting on it. They're inventing a problem and then selling people the fucking solution. When those types of people catch COVID-19, something bad happens, I know I have very little sympathy for them, just for people who are like other people who would be affected by something bad happening to them.
All right. I lost track of the people. Montreal player, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering when I was thinking about this question, I'm like, what is an anti-vaxxer, right? Is it just people who are just like vaccine hesitant, right? For whatever reason? Because I tend to agree with, I guess, the one or two of the people, right? For me, that's a massive trust issue, right? When you have government and big pharma coming in, okay, of course they have a solution for something that's a big deal. Of course it's a fucking crisis, right? I mean, whatever. It's not like it's been this before, but it's been like, I don't know, Iraq has WMDs. No, the NSA doesn't spy on Americans, right? We're not going to have another financial crisis, like anything, whatever. It's not like people aren't accustomed. It's not like people aren't accustomed from bullshit coming on from up high. Okay, where it turns out, you know what? Even if it's well-intentioned bullshit, it's like, you know what? I'm just waiting to find out. Okay, because you kind of have a shit track record. All right, and so if anybody's kind of like, if someone's listening to someone and this kind of resonates with them, and for whatever reason they decide, you know what, I don't think this is the right choice for me, and then something horrible happens, they're a human, right? They're a human, and I absolutely do have sympathy for them. What I don't have sympathy for is, and maybe this is again a few other people's takes, is if you are profiting from spreading a message of the COVID's a hoax, the vaccine's bullshit, they're trying to fuck with you, or they're trying to fuck the global control or any of this stuff, and you're pushing this, and like all you have to do is stay in shape and not be such a fat ass or whatever, right? These people, and then they're making money off of it, okay, and then they get COVID and they suffer from it. That's justice. I mean, that's justice. I have no sympathy for their suffering. You not only did you make this your brand, okay, but you asked other people to take this risk for you. You know what kind of impact your voice has, right? With all these people like kind of going into it, okay, and you told them take this risk with your own life. Trust me, I got it, okay. So for you to take that stance and not take that actual risk and not get COVID, I think is dishonest in the first place. You know, you believe in it. You think COVID's a hoax and stuff like that, and it's not really going to affect you that much. Fucking go out and get COVID. Show everyone. All right, since it's not bad, sell it. Okay, you're selling it. Fucking do it. Okay, I can't stand people who profit, okay, from things that they're not willing to take on their own. Okay, and I have nothing but contempt for them.
Open statements.
All right. Is there someone that I forgot?
No.
All right, perfect. You can engage.
All right. So here's my vibes on it, right? You know, I did 8 years in the Marine Corps. I got the flu vaccine. I think 2009 is when they like the avian flu or bird, pig, whatever the fuck flu came about, and they made all the military people get it, and that's what it started. Like I got the flu vaccine every year for like 8 years, and then, you know, I had never had the flu before. Like, I'm not fucking lying to you. I could show you my medical record. Never had the flu before. I got the vaccine. I got the flu every fucking year. You know, it's a weird thing. I don't know, but one of the biggest things I wanted to explain to you guys is that every single pumpkin ale that have had tonight tastes exactly the same. They all taste like pumpkin, and it's just weird. They're all the same beer. It's the same beer. So if you like pumpkin ale, just buy one. It'll taste the same as all the other. Okay, you could be that white bitch. You could put some fucking North Face jacket on with the leggings, and you can just whatever beer. Just say pumpkin, and they'll know what you're talking about.
This is literally negativity bias personified.
Carry on.
I hate you.
So I want to say though, you know, I had said earlier that I really
here's
you know,
the kind of the
would feel
problem that
sympathy. But I do think that the peddlers of this disinformation, it's really hard to feel sympathy for them when they get it, because it's like, dude, you're selling the disinformation, man. You're actually causing the pain of these other
people. The reality here at the end of the day, especially if you're going to be pointing out an individual content creator, say like Joe Rogan, right? Is it like, who makes Joe Rogan an authority on anything?
All the people that do DMT. Everybody that does DMT.
Right. So at the core of this,
bro, you want to see
DMT? Hold on. Right. So at the core of this, right? Fucking no one makes Joe Rogan an authority on anything, right? The only way he has any authority over you is if you give it to him, right? You have to. You'd have to believe every single fucking word that's being said, yada yada yada, right? So that's the only way he has any authority. So in reality, whenever someone would say that they wouldn't feel sympathy, right, in these kinds of situations, is only pointing out, I think, most of the time, some sense of, say, like, jealousy or envy of perhaps maybe the number of people that they've reached out here in this world, or just something that, like, prevents them from being able to fully experience empathy, right? Because different people have different tracks that they walk through in fucking life. And whenever it comes to something like a natural sickness, regardless of whatever your own immutable characteristics are, if you can't see somebody going through some shit and not just go, man, it sucks to be that guy.
But if you have DMT, though,
minimum, if you can't at least say, sucks to be that guy, then, like, where the fuck is, like, the disconnect in your head? That's what I want to fucking know.
All right. Wait.
Dude, like, what the heck, man?
Tiberius, go ahead.
Appreciate it. I want to get to the meta conversation that is between Jason and CTV, and that is the conversation of, while we can blame the people who say things that will influence people, and they should at least have some kind of bearing here, we also have to talk about the inside of that, which is, why are so many people listening? Yep. Why would people look at Joe Rogan and say, yeah, this guy totally knows what he's talking about, I should listen to him? He's a talk show host. Don't get me wrong. He might be an intelligent guy, but it doesn't mean he's certified as a doctor or an EMT or any kind of thing like that. And giving him power when it comes to medical decisions would be, to me, ridiculous. On the other side of that is that we can also talk about these people that will sell, and I'm not going to name anyone because I don't really care, is that we can have these people push these absolute narratives that you can't trust these folks, or these people have the Jewish space lasers, or whatever the fuck they're going to say next. We have to ask the question, what makes people so vulnerable to listening to something like that, I would hopefully assume most people think is blatantly dishonest. It does not match reality. There's cognitive bias there, right? Or cognitive dissonance, pardon me.
It must resonate with them for a reason, yeah.
Yes, and that's kind of what I've been on. And this is something that scares me among my fellow righties that I see, is that there's just a blatant distrust for institutions. And Monty was kind of hitting it with what the conversation was that he was given. It's like, oh, well, you guys said that this was going wrong, and this was going to happen, and this was going to happen, and doesn't happen. It's true. Some people have bad track records. The problem that I have with that is that, one, people are expecting others to be saints, and we're not. We're going to fuck up from time to time. But worse is that it's a negativity bias. We're literally looking at the highlight reel, and we keep putting all the bad shit in it, but we never look at the good shit that the expert. We don't think about every time that you go to the doctor, they've got you fixed up in a fucking week. Unfortunately, that sometimes calls for pills, but most doctors, they know what they're talking about. And you know it too when you talk to them. Most politicians, if you actually have a conversation with them, do know something. They actually usually know a lot. The absolute disdain for expertise and intelligence has got me driven up the wall. And I apologize for my rant because it looks like I'm putting you all to sleep, but that's where I'm at. And that's a little bit from the heart and a little bit of observation as well.
Yeah, I think it's a valid space, honestly.
Jason wanted to respond to CTV, who isn't here, so yeah.
No, I was just gonna say to Tiberius. No, he was completely valid in what he was saying. He's always here. You can hear him.
So, there's a level where I think sometimes people are way too trusting of the authorities. I think they do deserve to be questioned. But on the other side of that is the blatant disdain for just expertise just blows my goddamn mind. It's doctors, lawyers, all that shit. Go ahead.
I don't think you're comparing one.
The reality here is, let's not get too far away from it, right? Is sympathy. Sympathy is the core of what we're talking about here, right? Not intelligence. It's not like the people don't have experience. They don't have a bunch of different knowledge, which is where, specifically, I would say content creators that are showing up every day to talk to their communities, whatever they are, because there's a whole lot more of that happening, right? It's about this has been my experience in life. Take it for what you will. This is where I land on the issue. You can agree, not disagree, doesn't fucking matter, right? But when we're getting to the question of sympathy as to whether or not you should at least have the barest minimums of fucks for sucks to be that guy, it's it makes me start wondering where there's something hindering you from being able to just care about all people instead of just being hey, this dude just got hit by the fucking bus. I can't at least call 911.
I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna say that I think it's hard for people when they don't see it, when they don't. It's hard for people to sympathize or empathize when they don't see it, and that's see it in their own lives, and that's unfortunate. Because not to go on an anecdote, but I know people in my life who are anti-vaxx because of, I would say, propaganda that got to them when they were in a really rough, vulnerable time, and that's why propaganda works, right? That's when propaganda works. It's when they're, when someone's in a vulnerable time, they get drawn into that message.
Do you really think that random people on fucking the internet are keeping people from getting vaccinated?
I think they take advantage of people.
Do you think some idiot like me could keep somebody from getting the vaccine if they really?
Not people like Joe Rogan, people with huge shows like that. Yes.
Yeah, but if we remember,
pastors,
the anti-vax community was not made up of right-leaning people, 5 years ago.
Well, Joe Rogan's not a right-leaning person according to himself.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you could say fuck Joe Rogan, right? But 5-6 years ago, people were spreading measles and mumps and rubellum at fucking Disneyland in California. Do you think those people were conservative?
So I'm just going to
It's
talk
just
to
an
the
open
person.
question to
I'm
the
just-
community. Do you
I
think
don't
they
know
were
of
conservative?
any
I didn't
liberal or left-leaning person that
No, they
was on
weren't.
some
The
tirade
anti-vax
about.
community was mainly made up of fucking left-wing morons that fucking didn't want to get the flu shot because they watched a YouTube video of people like fucking tweaking out on the flu shot. Or like, oh, the flu shot
What?
causes autism.
Okay,
That's why
so-
everybody's self-diagnosed with autism
I
now
don't. How
too.
do you know
Okay,
these people
no,
are left?
hold on. No. Look, here's the look. I got a question in the chat, right? I got a question in the chat. I got something that got said. Now I got a fucking question, right? Because not right now, what's happening, right? Is it having some basic fucking humanity, right? Is somehow post-leftist propaganda, right? So like,
No, oh my god.
so Trix, which like you gotta like, how is it that having a fucking functioning heart, right, that reaches out to people is somehow fucking post-leftist propaganda? Like, what in the ever-loving
CTV,
fuck?
hold on. Okay, for context, in CTV's chat, when he left his chair, I said, CTV's gone, post-leftist propaganda. It's a meme, like, as in, you're gone, let's post dumb shit while you're away. It's not... I'm not
Look,
saying
man,
a lack
I'm
of
gonna
empathy.
fight with everybody that doesn't know what good pizza is like. All right.
Shut up,
Look,
Crunch.
like
damn
the
it.
Bash Johnson, Beer Bash Johnson. Like I feel
Okay,
you,
we'll
bro.
move on.
But
You know what the
Tiberius,
best pizza is? Vaccination
gross,
pizza.
Chicago, gross.
Yeah,
For real
okay,
though,
hold on.
I
This
think
one,
it's really
this one-
hard for me to try and like it's like what Sarah was saying about how it's really hard if you don't have people in
I
my
think.
state.
F.
All right.
There's
This is what you. This is what
Oh,
happens
never
when you have
mind.
state-run internet. Okay.
Tricks. Okay.
Barely won by
Holy
the
fuck! I'm
breadwinner.
going to mute people.
Hey, slow down. Geek needs a room.
All right, Trick Switch. Finish what you were saying. You were cut out. Go ahead.
Sorry. It's really hard because I have 11 people in my state with COVID, and that is it. I think we actually have 7 maybe, and that's the total. So while we have a lot of anti-vaxxers in Australia, we don't have a lot of people with I didn't even know a single person in my city that has I don't know anyone who has even known someone who has gotten COVID.
That's because they put you in camps.
So
That's why.
They didn't put people in camps. They
Yeah,
just
they
took
put
real
people in camps
Hey,
prevention.
in
for the
Australia.
love of ever-loving fucking Christ, can I hear her speak without being interrupted for like the next minute and a half? That'd be fucking nice as long as some of the opening statements were, okay? Thank you very much. Trick Switch, if you would, please.
Thanks. It would be quite nice. They didn't put us in camps. They just made us stay home. It's fine. My house is cool. But I think that's why in Australia especially, there is a lot of, anti-vaxxers in America are dying. Okay. Sounds good. Because honestly, maybe it's because I don't have any personal experience. I just don't know anyone. I haven't seen it in firsthand. The only cases of COVID I've seen are online, so there is no personal connection for me. It's really easy for me to distance myself from this and be like, anti-vax are dead? All right.
So we're definitely.
You don't care about dead
guy gets-
people?
Guy gets hit by the bus. Trick Switch is like, should have had your own fucking cell phone.
All right.
Yeah, should look both
Shouldn't
ways.
have been walking there.
Should be like, okay, I'm walking over this
Like,
problem
oh.
and continuing on my way.
Guy
just
steps
say
on a
that, take a
fucking
bit-
mine, explodes. Trix is like,
Hey.
all right, whatever.
Come on, Trix. You know that was
These likenesses, because
Come on, Trix. Don't try to be all
this
serious.
is
and
about
shit.
like
you know it's a
the
meme.
original
Step
thing
on
is
a
about
pressure
like
plate,
feelings. It's
boom,
about like
10 Marines dead. All right, whatever. It's cool. I don't
I
care.
can't hear you.
All right.
Come
I'm
on.
going to fade to Seren Kitty, who hasn't talked in a while. I don't know if you want to chime in. If not, that's okay. Just wanted to cut from all of them. Anyway.
I'll bring it back here in a minute.
Yeah, like I was saying. Yeah, it's easy to disconnect yourself from people if you don't see it in your own life. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I don't have anything to say right now, but
I want to bring it back because sympathy, I think we're all pretty well aligned on. That's just going to be a moral conversation real quick, and I hate to go down that ride. I want to get back into the institutions talk, and that's largely what Monty was saying, and CTV talked about it a little bit too. But Monty, you're largely advocating. There's a lot of people that feel like the institutions are liars. They're not trustworthy in any shape or form. And there's a level where it can be a little bit sympathetic to that, but there's a level where it also completely breaks down. For me, like, do you believe that most doctors know what they're talking about?
I think your comparison. I don't think it's a good comparison. I think an individual doctor one-on-one who's talking to you, okay, has their expert opinion, all right, and they're consulting with you. You're consulting with them, okay, and they might have to look you in the face if they give you bad advice, right, and say like, oh fuck, my bad advice. They may get sued. They have all kinds of things, and also their advice doesn't, it has a very limited scope. It might limit you, their other patients, maybe the inner circles, right? Someone who gives someone then who is an expert, right, and gives advice that touches hundreds of millions of people. Okay, this is a vastly different system in scale and scope, right? With so many multiplicative interactions. Okay, that your one expert opinion, okay, is throwing people in one direction, and you have no accountability. You have no accountability if it goes wrong. You could just say like, oh well, now I did the best I could. Then I guess I'm still going to go back to my life that has basically unchanged, right? Maybe I might take a reputation hit, but that's it. I'm not dying or anything like that. I'm not going out of business here. There's different risks involved. Okay, one more thing. Okay, there are a bunch of experts at the beginning of the crisis. Okay, who said, oh, there's no reason to think that this is a problem. We have to wait for evidence to come. Okay, and whatever. I was pushing back on them. Right? Are we waiting for evidence in the form of fucking flu? Right? There are some times where like being cautious, risk assessment, okay, is better, okay, than expertise in a field. All right, and this would have been one of those cases. And so that's it. There's a difference when you're talking to hundreds of millions of people than when you're talking one-on-one. It's not the same, I guess, responsibility. It's not the same effect in terms of expertise. Okay,
yeah, I want to pull that apart a little bit because I think that's an insightful part of the conversation. Is the problem here innately that there is no consequence to a higher authority? Because you can hold your doctor responsible to some degree. You can sue him. You'd be like, hey, yo, Dr. Herberg's a fucking dumbass. Don't go see him, right? Whatever. Versus if it's somebody who is like Dr. Fauci, he is a public figure. The only person that can fire him is Biden. Or Congress has to impeach him, and outside of that, like, what do you do? Because people can talk mad shit about him, but they're a voice in an ocean, right? They're a drop in an ocean. They don't have a voice of consequence. So I'm just trying to understand: are you largely advocating that if you don't have the like the direct consequence of being able to speak, that your value as the speaker is far more limited?
Your value, yeah, that's right. Well, I guess in terms of my evaluation, someone whatever, this ad nauseum I say this, right? But yeah, someone who doesn't have someone who isn't exposed to the risk that they impose on other people, okay, shouldn't be making decisions for them. Okay, if you are making these kind of decisions, either you make a risk-based assessment, okay, or you're exposed to that risk yourself, and people can choose, to follow you or not, right? You can say like, look, here's what I'm doing. This is why I think this is this, and you can make your case, all right? And if this makes any sense to you, I encourage you to follow me, okay? But please make your own decisions, make your own risks, or take your own risks. You know your life, okay? And I can't tell you what to do, all right?
Sure, I can largely like understand at least where you're coming from, and just as a clarification, you consider yourself more like libertarian, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever. Generally, I guess, yeah. All right.
I just asked because I'm just to a point now when it comes to these conversations, I like to understand like the meta behind it, like why you advocate for what you advocate for, and why you believe what you believe. And it sounds to me that this is more of like I'm not trying to lump you into a slum here.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's
more
of the
conversation.
Yeah, it's the anarchist conversation of like for me to hold you to some kind of level of scrutiny or value, I have to have some kind of like equality with you. I have to be on the same level of playing field, because if
there has to be some form of reciprocity.
Yeah. That's exactly where I'm going. Like that's not one that I expect from a lot of righties, but you that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's interesting because I don't really know how to deal with that because I'm more authority driven. is that I expect that the institutions are always going to have some kind of a competence and expertise that I do not as a unit. You have a doctor's union, you have the medical establishment. They know shit that I do not, and even together, basically the law of averages would be they are going to be right more often than anybody else will on their particular topic.
Okay, they're going to. Okay, they have an expertise. They have, I guess, a way of thinking of things, right? They also have their own interests. They're humans, right? And in throwing a story out there, okay, that's very rational, okay, that sounds great, and that just happens to be very good for you and your organization in the long term is not something that's unheard of, right? And sorry, I'm not saying this is done nefariously or like with ill intent or anything like that. I'm saying just fallible humans tend to fall into these traps, right? And then when you have the kind of power where you're just like especially in our media, right, where you have to like kind of like you have to pick a stance early and then stick with it, or else everyone's gonna like whatever. There's so many filters things have to go through, okay, to get from that level down to you, all right, and so many levels of complexity that it's just like it's weird for me. It's weird for me to like take someone from that level and think like, yeah, you know what, they really care about me and my family. Like if something happens to us, it's gonna hurt them in any way, and they're not. They're playing. I feel like people at that level are playing some kind of game, and unfortunately, they're playing games with my life. Right, and the life of that of my family, and so I can't trust them. And I'm double vaxxed, okay. I'm not. No, I'm double vaxxed. I'm not like this is what I did for myself and my family. I was kind of hesitant with this like institutions thing, right? But at the end of the day, there's also the risk that it poses to me and the people around me, and taking that into account. And I thought, you know what, the best decision is to get vaccinated. I think the relative risk of a vaccine, honestly, is very low. Okay, even if it's not the best vaccine in the world, I mean, they're pretty good at making vaccines that don't fucking kill you. All right, in my opinion.
Are they?
So. Yeah, they are. So,
I mean,
so that's it. No, they're fairly good. There's a fairly good track record of making vaccines that don't murder motherfuckers. Okay,
we
on
all
mass.
know that you live in a different country. Trix was lives in a different country, and Seren Kitty lives in a
Come
different
on, we have a
country.
serious conversation for 1 fucking second instead of talking about fucking.
Whoa.
Nobody's getting the same vaccine, right? Like you guys probably have different vaccines than we have down here.
Fucking stop. Now, Montreal, sum up what you said in 10 seconds. And then I want everybody to listen to what Crungelord is going to repeat. And let's see where we're at after that. Okay? Monty.
All right. Yes.
Go ahead.
You want me to sum up?
Sum up.
That's kind of broad. 10 seconds. All right. Fine. Fine. I feel personally, okay, for a variety of reasons, okay, that COVID's very real. It's a big threat, okay, and that if and for all the things I've considered, okay, for myself and my family, I thought the best decision, okay, was to get vaccinated, was to get fully vaccinated, so we can get on with our lives, and so I could reduce my risk of getting seriously ill or dying, because I have a bunch of people that depend on me, okay, and
but that's not what Crunge reacted to. That's not what Crunge reacted to. Right?
Reacted to me being Canadian. All right, let's go.
Yeah. So that wasn't what Crunge reacted to. Crunge, what was it that you reacted to?
All right, so for instance, the AstraZeneca vaccine, nobody's getting in the U.S., right? Like there are different things going on. Like I'm going to Korea at the beginning of October, right?
Okay.
And my vaccine means nothing to them because they have their own different vaccine. I have to get a negative COVID test and then quarantine for 6 days.
Yep.
So what I'm telling you is that all of these states, countries, whatever the fuck, are different. And how do we know this vaccine is more fucking is held to the same standard as the country that you live in? Like, are you like super fucking well informed about like how the FDA works in the US?
Here's how my non-expert opinion can make this.
I'm not mad at you. I just want to finish my statement. Right?
Sure.
Like the FDA approved lead paint in the 1950s. The FDA has approved a lot of fucking stupid shit. right? I'm vaccinated. My wife is not because she's a surrogate, and apparently the vaccine was like a no-go for her having kids for a family that can't. So I'm just I'm trying to figure out, right? What is the standard? Where's the standard stop? Where's it end when it comes to, okay, this vaccine's chill? Because as far as the U.S. freaking as far as history goes, like we gas our own people all the time. We've done all this shit. I can get into the history of it. I'm not going to go into conspiracy. All I'm talking is history, right? The U.S. FDA has fucked over a lot of people over the years. I have disability just for fucking breathing in shit that the fucking FDA shit was cool. Malaria fucking pills, all of that. So what I'm saying is I got the vax because I just got it, right? Because I'm used to it, because I was in the military. But like there are very understandable reasons why people would not get it just based on what is available as far as information goes. I'm not anti-vax. I'm just saying that we can't just say fuck these people. They're fucking they died from fucking not getting vaccinated.
I would never say fuck these
different countries have different laws when it comes to the approval process and all of that. Go ahead. Sorry.
I would never say fuck these people. I have total sympathy, even for people who don't take the vaccine they've made their own decisions. Okay, the only people I don't have sympathy for is the people who make oodles of money, peddling that not vax life because all you have to do is stay in shape and COVID's a hoax and stuff like that. Okay, if you have evaluated the situation in your own life and you decide, what, the vaccine's not for me for XY reasons, but that's my own personal choice. Okay, and you get it. You're a human being, and I totally have sympathy for you. Okay, I don't want anybody to suffer unnecessarily if you're a good person. Okay, as far as here's my non-expert risk assessment, I guess, opinion. Okay, you have a disease, that's going out there. Okay, I know people are getting it just because I know people working in the healthcare industry. Okay, and they're just overworked. They're overworked because hospitals flooded. Okay, and they're dropping because they're just overrun. All right, so definitely real. Also, there's a risk there. Whatever. There's a potential risk. That you get it. That maybe you die, maybe you don't. Maybe it has long-lasting, effects on you and your health. And that's it. On the other hand, I have the vaccine. All right. And maybe this is trusting, I guess, whatever science or whatever, but I trust them to make a vaccine that probably won't kill me, except for the fucking, a fringe or not fringe, but outlying, I guess, effects of people. All right. So just taking random vaccine that's well made, probably not gonna have massive negative effects on me.
Well,
all right.
But current data is only 75% effective.
That doesn't even matter. That doesn't even fucking matter. Hold on.
No.
I didn't hear any part of that. Nobody heard fuck all. So this exchange is now concluded for the meantime. Mr. Geek, I know you wanted to go somewhere.
Yeah, Trix Switch, whose hand must be really tired by now. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna bring up there's there's people who don't trust the vaccines and stuff. But what about the people who are like, I don't trust the vaccine, but I trust ivermectin? I don't know what it's called. The American, the horse thing. What about the people who are like, well, I won't take the vaccine, but I will take this horse thing?
That's largely why I want to reboot what me and Monty were saying. Or
Hold on. Fuck that. This whole horse thing.
No, not fuck that.
Shut up.
Fuck that.
Tiberius, go ahead. Tiberius, go ahead. Tiberius, go ahead.
Right? Or I can take a human pill that's small.
Is that when it comes to Monty's last
Tiberius, go ahead.
I've got him muted. I don't even give a shit. Where Bonnie was at the last moment was that he was going down the lines of institutions leads them to actions that make them more distrusting because of their own self-interest. They can perpetuate nefarious actions. Is that correct? I'm not misquoting you on that?
Generally, because I find there's a big risk of that, and I think that's people's fear. That's a big fear that's invading people there.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I understand that. Now, the problem that I have with that argument, just in context, is that I feel that there's a hard counter within its own argument, is that institutions are also going to have the self-interest of making themselves look good. And this is the libertarian argument, right? A business isn't going to completely come in and fuck you over because they have the self-interest of saying, hey, look, I have to look good when I'm selling products, when I'm operating as a business, because if I don't, people will take their money and they'll go elsewhere. So either we don't actually agree with the purchase value that people have, or basically the negative attributes of a company lead them to do more negative things than they do positive. So I got to figure out where we're at there.
Okay, no, actually, I'll disagree with one thing. Okay, it's not
Sure.
that I don't think they're like I genuinely think the institutions think that they're doing or that in the moment, okay, they think that they're doing the right thing. I think it's influenced by their own self-interest, but they're like, if we can combine those two, I think let's go. Okay, they think they're doing the right thing. All right, the thing is that if they find out midway that they're doing the right thing has is either counterproductive or it has an effect that's outside of the scope of anything they're measuring. They're either A, not going to measure that thing that it's displacing somewhere that nobody's looking at, or B, they're going to find a way to say like, oh, okay, well, mea culpa, but we still got to move on, or they're going to say, oh, well, no one could have ever foreseen, this thing, right? And we basically led you down the wrong direction, but we meant well, right? But it means the same thing. You took a shot, okay, you applied it across the board, all right, and now people are paying and you still get to take shots. That's messed up.
Okay, so just one little question is that, do you feel that it would actually help a lot of these institutions to go, hey, look, we know that this thing's a problem, we're currently collecting data, we do not have any definitive any information for you at this moment. If you give us a couple days or maybe a couple weeks, we'll have something for you that we have with concrete. And that would actually help a lot of these institutions.
Can I say something real quick?
No, but
if it's not intelligent, I don't want to hear it.
From the
I don't care what you want to hear and don't want to hear.
Then I'll mute your ass right again.
Look at
Because
the
we're having a good conversation with
I
Monty.
do not care what you want to hear.
Okay,
what
cool.
I'm saying is that
All right, Monty,
this horse
go back
pill
to
that
this
you're talking
conversation,
about.
for God's sake.
It's not just a horse
All right,
pill.
Crungelord, go ahead, and after that, Montreal.
Okay, so this horse pill that Tiberius keeps referencing is not just a horse pill. There are human doses. Same with fucking Tylenol or fucking penicillin, right? There is a farm animal dose and there is a human dose, right? You could look this up yourself, but you're not. You're just gonna rub your head in your fucking tiny ass apartment while
It doesn't matter. If you're taking horse medicine, you have no room to talk in the conversation. Say something fucking intelligent, for God's sake.
Look, man.
There's a lot of
Like,
reasons
we
for
all
humans
agree
to
Joe
take
Rogan's a
dewormer.
fucking moron, but for some reason, like, he was able to deduce that he should probably take this instead of doing this or that or getting on a respirator. And 4 days later, he didn't have COVID anymore.
Joe Rogan's a drug addict. He took every
These are the
drug
reasons.
available to him because that's what
I
he
agree
does.
that I
What the
agree that
hell,
Joe
dude?
Rogan does all the drugs. I agree.
What?
Like, it was probably the
All
acid
right.
or LSD or the fucking DMT that cured him of this whole thing.
All right. I want
to say that there's dumbass conservatives just taking horse pills is very like unfounded.
Oklahoma
stupid.
actually has
It's
an
stupid.
influx of hospital visits. Their hospitals are overrun with people who are overdosing on ivermectin right now. So,
so
that
they
is
give you a
actually
Real
happening.
quick. Okay. Stop. I'm going to mute again. Holy fuck. Okay,
Hey,
two
let's
things.
not-
First of all,
let's not real quick, the geek, if you will. Let's not push the limits of geeks' patience. Okay, not do that.
two things. I think it's important to fight misinformation, so I'm going to precise two things. One, none of the people on this panel are medical experts or professional or know anything. They're just people with Google. So please take your advice from real medical professional.
True.
Two, real quick, please. The thing about ivermectin and the hospital in Oklahoma is has been kind of like debunked by the hospital. The person who made the claim isn't a doctor that worked here in the last
Is
2
the Mayo
months.
Clinic
But yeah.
trustable, geek?
I don't care. I just
Mayo
wanted to
Clinic?
precise this to avoid like going into a hoax. That's it. Just
I'm
wanted
just
to
saying,
remember.
like, do we trust the Mayo Clinic or we do not? Because I will not use that source ever again. But I'm saying the Mayo Clinic trusts the ivermectin.
Mayo Clinic?
It may not be a COVID thing, but there is a human dose. So saying that it's a fucking horse, whatever the fuck, is stupid. Because, right, there are different doses, right? Like, if you've ever worked on a farm in your entire fucking life, you know that there are medicines that work for other mammals that are not humans that you have to give a bigger dose. And then it gets smaller, the smaller the animal gets, right? So you don't kill them, right? I'm just making a base take based on just like regular science. I don't know.
All right.
It's weird.
I know that
Okay.
Montreal player has been patiently waiting, so I want to throw it back to him.
Yeah, it's difficult to get back on track now. Sorry, ADHD and pills worn off. Okay, let me try to remember. Yeah, the something Tiberius said. Shit. Yeah, the was this even relevant anymore? The individual. I don't think they care about the ins and outs of when you're making a decision, they don't care about the ins and outs of like this and that and that. The other. All they know is that I've heard this kind of song and dance before. It always seems to be a crisis, and then it turns out, it's some bullshit. I got screwed. All right, and that's it. And so to expect a different thing because you have institutions that honestly, I think one of their problems is that they always have to communicate. They have to project strength and assurance and stuff like that because they think that's the way to get people to move in one direction. I think it's just bad leadership, honestly. But that's it. They have a real problem. I think there's a real crisis of public trust, honestly, and that's why these kind of messages of like mistrusting vaccines and stuff like that is so potent with a lot of people, right? Because it gets them there, and I think there's a precedent of mistrusting institutions of having government and corporations in bed together to screw the person. It's a story we've all heard before. Whether or not it's true or not, I feel like it's in people's heads, okay, generally, and it can lead to outcomes like this. The ivermectin thing, okay, it's just like, I mean, there's a human dose. Clearly, there's a human dose that's non-lethal to humans, right? And I think people are just like, there's something else about the vaccine, right? It's a fucking needle in your veins, right? And people are like, you know what? The pill sounds like less of a risk. It's probably not the case. I think it's flawed reasoning, but I mean, I can understand how people would be like, you know what? I'd rather just take my chances with a pill than a friggin' needle putting something I don't know in my veins, right? And that's it. I just think because we're on the
Vaccine's not in your
topic of
veins,
sympathy.
just to be clear.
Okay,
Thank you,
sorry.
CT.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. In the muscle that goes into your bloodstream. Jeez. All right.
Take the Lane Staley approach, all right? You be good.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
We're talking about sympathy, and I think that people who are vulnerable to that kind of messaging, for whatever reason, I think I don't think they're wrong. I don't blame them for having that reasoning, because I'm also mistrustful of institutions, so I can sympathize for them, even though I've gone in on it for various other reasons. And I wouldn't. And if they got harmed by some disease, whether it's COVID or just COVID that aggravates their things, I'm not going to be unsympathetic to them at all. It's terrible. It's terrible. People suffering is terrible.
All right, I want to throw it to Beer Bash Johnson. Sorry, Tiberius, I'm throwing
That's
it.
fine.
But-
I've taken up a lot of time.
All right, I'm throwing it to Beer Bash, after that Tiberius, and after that we'll go into closing statement. I'll be right back. Go ahead, Beer.
All right, say it. Well, one quick little factoid about the thing with the whole horse dewormer that makes it so easy to overdose on is the stuff they're selling for the horses that you can buy over the counter is actually like a weird paste and not like pills that you have to take fixed dosages of. You could just sit there and just eat as much or as little of that shit as you want. But anyways, the one like study that was purporting that ivermectin was good against COVID-19 also it didn't what's the fucking word I'm looking for? It has since been like
It's
not
debunked,
quite
it's been
retracted yet,
invalidated.
but it's been like completely discredited. It is because it had all sorts of conflict of interest issues, faulty like the data acquisition itself was really faulty. It was refuted by more in-depth stuff.
Like I just think calling it a horse medicine only is fucking dishonest and stupid, right?
Yeah.
But also the
Like,
manufacturer
I'm not gonna tell my wife and kids to take ivermectin. Look, I have the vaccine. My wife and kids do not. Okay, I'm not gonna tell them to take some fucking drug that some like Alex Jones is pushing, right? To not have COVID, right? I'm gonna tell them to get the vaccine. My wife can't get the vaccine because she's fucking doing a surrogacy thing for family in Texas. They don't want to do that.
Now we're just repeating ourselves. So let's kind of
sure.
What I wanted to get to
I'm not pushing propaganda on here.
No, it's fine. I got a question for everybody, right? So like, let's do this, right? I got a question, right? Would anyone here take Viagra, right? if they had
No.
or what? Come on, Trix. Come on. You're. It does the exact same thing. It's just it works a little bit different, but it's. I mean, maybe you should watch some Sex in the
Just take
City.
a
No,
Viagra.
Australian
All right,
Viagra does not work the same.
Hold on. Now
Australian
listen.
Viagra does not
Hold
work.
on. Listen.
All right, it's a different definition.
Hold the fuck on.
Your dick goes inwards.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If you want to get into that, we can have a pretty long conversation about it,
No.
Like
okay?
that toilet
Now,
thing.
anyway-
that shit goes backwards.
Anyway, with being armed with the information that it was actually tested on horses and cattle before humans. See? So this is where it
I
all
love
ties together.
All right. I'm going to take my turn next because I want to finish out the conversation that I was having with Monty real quick because I think we're at the end of it. Is that so? I'm with you, Monty, where it comes to like, all right, cool. You know, we're gonna have problems with the CDC, but I'm not of the whole mindset of person just go ask the person every time because you know what, doctor's too expensive to me to go see a family doctor every time something comes up. Right. So for me, it's like, hey, look, listen to the CDC. They'll have some guidelines for you. Now, I can totally fucking appreciate a thing. It's just like, hey, look, while the experts should know shit, there's also a line where it's like, hey, this thing's new, or we don't have a formulated opinion on it. We're going to take a week. We're going to take some given amount of time to get some hard data before we make a final conclusion. That I can 100% respect if we go down that road. However, if I'm going to have to shift everything to just making it where a person needs to consult a medical position or medical professional on any and all medical things, that gets expensive for everyone real fucking quick. And that's a problem. So I either got to start pushing for socialized healthcare, or I need to have some general level of, hey, we've got to have a bottom line here where you can trust the institution.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you can't trust an. No, hold on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you don't have access to experts. Waiting for hard data for something novel, I think, is a flawed approach. You need to take a risk assessment, approach, because frequently the data is not all in. It's flawed. The data might be flawed, or even the ways of analyzing it, are just are motivated. Right. So that's it. In terms of a risk approach, or in terms of a risk-based approach, I guess for me, the vaccine makes sense. Right. And honestly, yeah, that's it. Shit. I had something to respond to what you were saying, and I fucking lost it. Anyways, maybe it'll come out again. No, it's fine. It's fine. No. Let everyone do it. I'll think of it, and I'll get back to you.
The only thing I'll say in reply to that is I'm really glad that I think that you made the right personal decision. I don't understand like the meta-ethical part where you're coming with, because a lot of this in my head keeps clashing with it. I'm trying to like iron that out. But I'm going to drop the floor because I think I had something like 15-20 minutes of speaking time on this topic. So thank you very much. But I don't want to dominate everything.
And with that, we're going to go.
Remember what I was going to say.
With that, we're going to go
like
into
a third topic, or
with
is
that,
this
we're
the last one. I came here late.
Yeah, I
because
don't
you
give a
guys
shit.
told-
Sorry. With that, we're
Okay,
going
cool.
into closing
All
statement.
right, I'll just leave then.
Okay.
Bye. I'm cool with that.
Bye.
All right. With that, we're going into closing statements. Sorry. So we're going to start by Seren Kitty.
Yes. Okay. So I wanted to say, as my closing, that yes, people are going to be very vulnerable to propaganda and misinformation, especially during a really fucking hard time. Like, people lost their jobs last year. I know so many people who got sick, and a few people that passed away from COVID. And it's like, yeah, people are gonna go online and listen to the people online. They go listen to their pastors during times like these. Like, I don't know why that's so hard to grasp. But yeah, that's what I was getting at. And yeah, thank you.
All right. I'm going to throw. Before doing so, I need to say thank you to everyone who is still here. I really appreciate all of you taking time of your day and like basically just following the rules, you know? It allows to a good conversation. I really like the palette cleanser. I thought it was a lot of fun. So yeah, thanks a lot to all of you. And people, again, go follow all of these wonderful people. You got the link of everyone in the chat. Yeah, all of them deserve your support. So yeah, go drop a follow to all of these wonderful people. And since we are shout out, Danabo, who is doing an amazing work behind the scene, who is inviting and putting all of these wonderful people together. So yeah, go support him, twitch.tv/Danabo. And on top of that, if you're a content creator and you're interested to be in this show, yeah, join his Discord and everything. There's everything in it. So yeah, thank you everyone. And with that, I'm going to throw it to I don't know, Montreal. Sorry, brain.
Can I go next? I'm remembering my
Yeah,
response.
go ahead.
I'll go first, just to help speed up the clock, and I only have my outros to do anyway. Unless we're just doing closing statements, making sure.
Yeah.
Closing statements only, or are we doing outros?
Closing statement, shout out. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So my closing statement will largely just be, when it comes to this, I understand that people do not trust their institutions. My purport where I'm at right now is the meta conversation as to why and addressing that. Now, there's some stuff of this I can work with, where, you know what, our institutions need to be a little bit more human and have that kind of touch. It's like, hey, look, we're gonna fail sometimes, and we goofed up here, but we think this is the right thing. We need to move forward. But there's a level here. It's like, yo, trust your doctors, trust your institutions. They do know shit. And there's a point where a lot of these arguments on the other, not necessarily the other side of the aisle, but even within my own camp, just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I can't break it down because I think they fight a lot. And those ideas are not coherent. But anyway, I'll let Monty just derail the living crap out of me here and tell me why I'm a dumbass here in a second. I'm just being funny. Anyway, my outro is largely, I'm Tiberius D. If you like what I had to say, you're welcome to come check me out. I've got 3 different forms of content. I study in economics and political science. My claim to fame is geopolitical channel, where I just talk about what's going on in the rest of the world and why certain nations seem to fail way better than other nations seem to succeed. It's really weird, but if you want some of those answers, come by, check out my stuff. The second show is Mask Off. I do a little bit of panels, but getting to these meta conversations is one of the primary things that I do on that channel. So if you liked what I did here, definitely come check me out there. And then if you want if you want to hear whatever reviews I have regarding the Star Wars trilogies, or why Doctor Who is pretty cool, or why Naruto was kind of meh, go check out my reviews channel. It's all on Twitch, and you can find all the sublinks down below for the YouTube. Thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here. That was fun.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to throw it to Montreal player. That way you can respond directly.
Okay. Yeah. So in my opinion, the one of the major flaws with institutional messaging is that they need to project a clear messaging, right, to a large amount of people. It's susceptible to motivated reasoning, the flaws in data collection, especially when you're in a rush, and most importantly, the ability to move people in one direction fast, which is why they have this power, right? Because you need, I guess, to do that. But instead of admitting their vulnerability to uncertainty, media, who seemingly represents these institutions, shame and dehumanize detractors. Right. And I think this has kind of led to a public trust crisis, right? Because you have to kind of project this certainty, project this kind of strong messaging. And I think the thinking behind that is that, if people perceive weakness and uncertainty in your messaging, well, they're not going to follow you. And it's more important in the short term to get people to follow you, even if it means, rounding off this corner or cutting this corner or something like that. And I think that's a flaw in leadership. I think over the long term, eroding this trust, okay, with this kind of attitude towards people, treating them like they're fucking idiots all the time, or making people feel like institutions think they're fucking idiots that need to be lied to move in a certain direction. It's going to keep eroding this trust, and one day when we really need people to move in one certain direction, a lot more people are going to say no, I'm not moving because you keep fucking lying to me, and that's going to be a fucking catastrophe. I think we're seeing that a bit, but I don't think it's where it could be going. And and I think it's something we really need to watch. We really need to watch for. I think maybe one of the phrases Tiberius said, a little more humanity in that kind of messaging might go a long way in the long term. Maybe not in the short term. Okay, maybe you'll have worse results in the short term, but if we're playing the long game of humanity, okay, basic leadership, okay, is to inform your people. All right, is to inform your people so they trust you. They trust you when you tell them that you're to go. They trust you when you tell them to not go, or they trust you when you're not sure. Okay, but you have their best interest at heart. Okay, and I just don't think that's what I think the idea that institutions don't have our best interest at heart is setting in more and more. And at one point, it's gonna become so catastrophic that we'll need people to move in one direction, and they're just not going to. All right, that's it.
All right, I'm going to throw it to Trix switch.
My general take on this topic as like a wrap up is if an anti-vaxxer passes away from COVID, I'm not going to lose any sleep from it personally. But I'm also not going to celebrate it, and I think that celebrating it would be inappropriate. I think that if you deliberately don't get the vaccine because it's a hoax or anything, I feel bad that you've fallen susceptible to such misinformation, and I hope you know that you're endangering many people. It's just selfish in the end of the day. I'm Trixwitch, Trix_witch. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch once I get good enough internet to be able to do anything. I had fun.
Thank you for being here. All right, I'm going to throw it to Jason Society.
Thanks. So my take on this is kind of where I was at in the beginning, which is that we absolutely should have sympathy for these people. A lot of this has to do with disinformation. One thing I didn't touch on is a lot of these people are relying on this disinformation because they can't get affordable health care. Maybe the solution should be socialized medicine, which would allow people to actually go to the doctors and have those conversations with their doctors to understand why it's important to have the vaccine, because there's a ton of people that are underserved by the medical community right now that are being disenfranchised and are getting this bad information because it's the only source they have. So with that said, I think we can have sympathy for people, understand that there needs to be some structural change made in order to accommodate everyone and make sure they get the proper information so they can make the best decisions. And then from there, sympathy, absolutely, always. We should care about each other. It's a simple moral good, and I mean, I guess we can have the morality conversation, but from where I'm sitting, a lost life is a lost life, and absolutely we should care about that. You can find me at twitch.tv/Jason_society or on Twitter at twitter.com/JasonSociety. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to throw it to CTV.
Well, we've got a lot of strong opinions here tonight. Geek, to be fair, I think there was probably miscommunication between you and Crunch. I think you might have lost your patience and
No.
I think so.
No.
And that's why I want to say this here now, right, where it's fresh in the moment, right? Because what I saw is that like you were clearly frustrated about some other stuff, and the interaction from his side was him just asking the question if there was a third topic because he came in late. So to me, it seemed more like a genuine question. Okay, so like whether he was being a dickhead.
The problem isn't the question. The problem is literally that like he was here at the beginning when I said the rule, which is that when I talk, no one talk. It has been one time, 2 times, 3 times, and everything. You know me, I never mute people. If I get to mute you, it's because
no, I just I was just saying that like because of like the situation, it created this tension in the room that I just wanted to kind of try to alleviate. You know what I mean? Anyway, as far as the topic and everything goes, people will come to the conclusions that they come to based off of a lot of reasons. It could be conversations with their doctor. It could be their own personal life experience. It could just be because of whatever beliefs that they themselves hold, right? And this is where having a little bit of humanity to understand that the diversity of the peoples across the planet doesn't need to, all of a sudden all just be wiped out because there's a government that's saying something, and then like there's evidence to some things, and then like we're just supposed to blindly trust, these institutions moving forward whenever there's been evidence of them, abusing that in the past. That's essentially where I'm at the core of all of it.
All right. And where can people find you and everything?
Oh, well, they could find me at twitch.tv/critically thinking veteran, and in the Infinity Acre Wood, which is the Discord where the Wolf's Den resides.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to throw it to Beer Bash Johnson. Did I forget anyone, by the way?
I think Seren Kitty, Beer Bash, and Jason, I believe, still need to go, if I'm correct. On
No,
the
Jason went.
No,
I know.
Jason.
Oh, I didn't get to shout myself out, but
Oh, yeah,
she
go
has-
ahead.
she hasn't gone yet.
yeah. So you guys can catch me at Seren_Kitty on Twitch and Twitter. Oh shit! No, my mic is falling over. I'm a little scuffed right now, but I try to keep things lighthearted on my channel. We can get serious too, but mostly we have fun. We joke around. We kind of throw memes, and I'm kind of a shit poster. My mic is falling over. No, okay. But thank you so much for inviting me. I had fun, and yeah.
All right. And I'm going to throw it to Beer Bash Johnson.
Okay, so about like sympathy towards people. Yeah, of course I believe in having like sympathy towards people, but there's so critically thinking veteran earlier was like making the comparison to, you know, like if somebody like walked into the street and got hit by a bus because they were casually not looking, likening that to people like not having and then you just like sitting there and not even calling 911 was likening that to, you know, the to, you know, just having trouble feeling sympathy for especially the people who are pushing this stuff. But then even sometimes I do definitely agree with Jason's society that like I do have try to keep having sympathy for the people who are for the people who didn't really have anything to didn't have benefit in any way from pushing this stuff. But still there's like this huge difference between like, you know, somebody who like got COVID-19 then and who was like an ardent anti-vaxxer and then died from it. There's a huge difference between being like, well, that sucks, and then not really giving much of a shit about it, which is where more I'm at, and then versus like, you know, somebody gets hit by a bus and you're sitting there and you're sitting there like but a chatter of mine actually summed up like one of my biggest problems with that comparison earlier. My chatter said rather than it just being somebody when it comes to the COVID-19 misinformation, pushers even more so, but then also to a degree like the people who believe the misinformation, these are people who have been told, and they're not people who are accidentally walking in front of a bus. They're people who have been told time and time again that this bus is coming when it was like it was like a runaway bus with blown out brakes that couldn't stop or something, when it was like a half mile down the road. Person refused to believe it, like stands in the middle of the street and is like, come at me. But yeah, and ultimately I do think I like Jason's closing statement was really I can't disagree with that one little bit. The way that we solve this, we could sit around arguing about like feeling sympathy for people who caught COVID-19, died either because they believed or pushed and believed stupid bullshit. But the way that we actually solve this is ultimately to like increase accessibility, because holy shit, our hyper capitalist healthcare system that has this huge barrier access for so many fucking people definitely contributes to why this has become such an issue in the first place, why people can be so distrustful of the institutions. Anyway, so I'm Beer Bash Johnson. You can find me at twitch.tv/Beer Bash Johnson, spelled with 3s instead of E's. And you can also find me on YouTube. I believe you can find me on YouTube, Beer Bash, just search Beer Bash Johnson TTV. And Mr. Geek, thank you critically thank you, veteran. Thank you very, very much for having me on your show. And thank you very much, Danabo, for inviting me to the show. Hey, Mr. Geek, you've done a real good job holding things together here tonight. I could tell there were some times that it was starting to get a little stressful for you. So
I got help.
I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for hosting this. Thanks for having us on. I hope everybody has a good night.
Yeah. With that being said, thank you again to everyone. Thank you, Danabo, for putting this together. Thank you, CTV, for being the co-host and being here, you know. And
welcome, buddy.
Yeah, are you going to stay live for a while?
Probably for a little bit, yeah.
All right. You get the rate. Yeah, I'm going to say goodbye to my chat, and yeah, feel free to use the website and everything if you want. Take care, people.
I forgot to show myself out. Can I get a last?
Yeah, for sure.
So twitch.tv/Montreal player. If you think I'm someone you could have interesting conversations with, follow me. Okay. But if you want to see me immediately, what I'm probably going to do is in a few minutes, I'm going to roll myself a big fatty, go over see CTV. All right. And we're going to have a good time full of jokes and memes and whatever. Okay. And Tiberius D, if you think we had an interesting conversation, next time, don't kick me out of your fucking Discord again. Okay. All right.
I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
I'll check the audit log.
Was in your Discord? Was in your Discord once? So there's that whole drama thing. It kicked me out. Totally understandable. Got back in your Discord. Then I'm kicked out again, and I'm like, okay, this motherfucker just doesn't like me. Okay, that's enough. That's enough drama for now. Monty,
I didn't know that happened.
All right, guys. All right,
Take care.
Monty, I'll
you,
see
guys.
you over there, buddy.
All right.
Yeah, see you later.
Thank you, people. Take care.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
Waiting, you guys.
Goodbye.
Later on.
All right,
Thanks,
take care.
everyone. See you soon.
Yeah, Monty, I'm gonna look in.
All right. That was a show. Sorry, something to do. That was an interesting one. Yeah, I really like the middle topic, basically the palette cleanser. I thought it was cool. Anyway, yeah. With that being said, we're going to rage CTV. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm going back live right after this. I hope I'm not making it. First try. Yeah. Anyway. Thank you, everyone. I'm coming back after this. I'm going back to my usual content, which is basically nothing. So, yeah. Take care, people. Peace.
Back next week, next Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern.